San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one of Jon and Jim. Should be an interesting 4 hours because Jim forgot his headphones at home. So he's got these like alternate headphones, which means if you're watching on YouTube, Jim looks like an alien compared to how Jim normally looks.
Well, I usually have the
in-ear buds. I have the over-ear headphones.
Now, the sound sounds okay in my head.
You look hilarious.
But I look so stupid right now.
Who do you look like? I'm looking right now. Hold on.
I don't look like myself.
Not at all. You look. Oh, who do you look like?
I don't know, but I look like a guy that's wearing these big like.
You look like someone that's like. I
look like someone that's going in the cold.
No, well, that with like big earmuffs, but you also look like a DJ.
I do.
Yeah, you look like a Vici.
Okay.
Which is a compliment.
Well, anyway, if you want to know what I look like, just go to our YouTube channel, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and you can see how ridiculous I look today.
You really do.
I feel so awkward.
It does look like you're in the snow.
I mean, why do these look so big on my head?
They're huge. They're way bigger.
You look like you're going to go fly helicopters or something.
Yes, exactly. He really does. All right. So there's that. Darnay Trip, friend of the show, arguably, will join us at 5 p.m. By the way, programming announcement. The Mountain West Golfer of the Year who just participated in the Masters, Justin Hastings at San Diego State, will join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. An incredible year for Justin Hastings.
Nice.
They're heading to the regionals in Tallahassee, Florida for next week. Justin will join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. We'll hear from Mike Shildt regarding the injuries. What are you laughing at? Your look?
No, I feel like you can't even look at me.
I can't. I'm not looking at you. You look ridiculous.
This is so awkward.
Dude, you look ridiculous.
These are so big on my head.
Oh, thank you, Sammy. And the Sammy Long from Fletchstone. You look like Princess Leia. That's exactly what you look like. That is exactly what he looks like. I was searching for, I'm like, I recognize this man. This man is Princess Leia.
It's because I'm wearing the white shirt today.
You literally look like a princess.
Yeah, is it the beard?
You look like the 1979 Star Wars figure.
I look like a pretty princess with the headphones on.
Kind of, truthfully.
Like Princess Leia.
You look like
Obi-Wan
Princess
Kenobi.
Leia.
You're my only hope.
Dude, you look like Princess Leia. All right. Padres wasted opportunity over the last 2 days. Had seventh inning leads in game 2 and game 3. In game 3, they led actually in the 8th inning by 2 runs. Jason Adam allows that home run to Trent Grisham last night. The story within the story, obviously, is their health, Jim, and we'll hear from Mike Shildt. But Dylan Cease is like, everything comes at you quick, from no hitter to no decision. I can't deal with you.
Look, this is so. We can't do the show like this.
Yes, we can. We have no choice.
I know.
Where are your earbuds, dude?
They're on my desk at home. I forgot to put them on my backpack.
What's
after
Erin
the wrap-up
doing?
show. She's working. What do you want her to do? To come to the studio?
Yeah.
No.
Sammy, go pick up Jim's headphones.
I'm using Sammy's headphones.
Right. Good point. Anyway, Dylan Cease goes from no hitter to no decision to leaving due to cramping forearm. And then we had Jackson Merrill, who had this huge night, home run, huge RBI base hit, although they lose 4-3, and he was hit by a pitch late in this game. We'll hear from Mike Shildt in a moment. So it's one thing to lose the series, Jim. I mean, they could have swept this series. They certainly could have won 2 out of 3. So one thing to lose the series. It's another thing to potentially lose either Dylan Cease, and I don't think they will. Merrill's going to be fine. But the Cease thing, will he make his next start? I think that's still up in the air, Princess.
I'm going to punch you in your throat. I am not particularly worried about Dylan Cease and his health. It was interesting how, like, anytime you hear forearm tightness or cramp, you're like, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I couldn't feel my hand, and I was like trying to loosen it up. That's always, to me, a cause for concern. But what made me feel better about what happened after he left the game is he just sat in the dugout. There were no trainers around him at all. No one was talking to him. He was looking at the like iPad to watch how Cody Bellinger somehow hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball at his letters out 450 feet.
Right.
And so with that, I feel like he's still going to make his next start. And by the way, talked to the reporters after the game, said he passed all tests with flying colors. So I view that as a positive.
I
How
do
could you
too,
not?
but I take it all with a grain of salt because I was told that Jackson Merrill was day to day with a hamstring, or Darvish was going to be all right in spring training. And with pitchers, it's even more concerning. And I hope he makes his next start, and hopefully he will. But you always have that thought in the back of your mind when it comes to anything with an arm injury and a pitcher. So we'll wait on Cease. Merrill is going to be fine. They're playing the Rockies this weekend. If they win that series, all they have to do is win the series. They don't have to sweep the series. I mean, it's the lowly Rockies who right now are playing a doubleheader and down 10-1 to Detroit at home. So their bullpen will be completely taxed. You win the series, Jim, you go 6-3 on the road. I know in the short term, it feels like they wasted an opportunity in New York. They probably did. They had late leads and they didn't win the series. But if you win a series in Colorado, 6-3 trip or better, that's a pretty good trip considering everything.
And yeah, last night was definitely a wasted opportunity. But I think the positives coming out of last night's game, one, Dylan Cease looked fantastic. That was easily the best start of Dylan Cease's season so far. Took a no-hitter into the seventh. Yeah, he gave up that 700-foot bomb to Bellinger, and he left with an injury, but sounds like he's okay. Right. Other than that, Miss Lincoln, how was the play, right?
Right.
But if he makes his next start and he continues to build off of what he looked like last night, I mean, the dude was pumping 99 and locating his fastball. He struck out Judge multiple times. He looked really, really sharp last night. Easily the best start of his season. He can build on that, and hopefully he does. That, to me, is a huge positive. It's almost like, you lost the battle last night, but maybe you won the war a little bit here with Dylan Cease getting back on track and starting to pitch like Dylan Cease, the guy that we know.
Yeah, that would have been my takeaway if he didn't leave the way he left.
Right.
Yeah,
there's concern for sure.
1,000%. You're exactly right. And if he's fine, that's amazing, and that will be the takeaway.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been my starting point, the lead for me today. Like, okay, maybe the Padres lost 4-3 in 10 innings, but Dylan Cease was absolutely spectacular and pumping 99 and hitting spots, and he looked like Dylan Cease. And I still do feel like that, but I just have this thought in the back of my mind that, is he going to be that pitcher moving forward? Is he fully healthy? I have no issues with their bullpen. I just don't. It was inevitable that there'd be some type of regression to the mean. The bullpen has been elite. They were on a historic pace. We talked to Kyle Glazer earlier this week. The blow up 2 days ago is going to happen. It wasn't with their 8-team relievers. And then Jason Adam yesterday, he allows that home run to Trent Grisham. It's on a breaking ball. I heard somewhere, I think that was the first time Grisham all year has hit a breaking ball out. He had hit 9 fastballs out this year. So it is what it is. I mean, Jason Adams is a really good reliever. He's not going to have a 0 ERA. He got taken deep by a guy that's had a good month in Trent Grisham, but I'm not going to overreact to their bullpen. I think their bullpen's going to be really good. I think their bullpen's going to be a reason why they win games 3-1, 3-2, not lose games 4-3. So I'm not going to overreact to the bullpen, even though the last 2 days weren't the finest days for the bullpen.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
They hit a little bump in the road. And if it's in game 35 and 36 of the season, so be it. Mm-hmm. I do still have a lot of trust in this bullpen. Shildt has a lot of trust in this bullpen.
Yeah.
He's going to go back to these guys time and time again when, the opportunity presents itself. Mm-hmm. He's not going to just bury these guys out there because they had a couple rough outings. Like, no, there is no confidence that's wavered here from this bullpen. They're still the best in baseball. They had a couple bad games. It happens. Jason Adam last night against Trent Grisham missed his spot badly. And Grisham, it was right in his wheelhouse, like that middle in where that golf swing, and he got it. So it happens. You prefer it not to happen, and you prefer Jason Adam to be, sharp last night, but he wasn't. And then you get to the 10th inning. It was a situation where they just couldn't execute. Like, they just couldn't execute, and you had the right guys up there in the moment to get the job done, and they didn't get the job done. And look, Devin Williams has had an awful season, right? Awful season. But when he is on, that changeup is unhittable. And guess what? He was on last night, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with that. And by the way, in any one plate appearance, it's hard to be overly critical of any one player because it's one thing to be critical. Fernando Tatis Jr. was hitting 197 and failed to come through. You'd be like, well, he's failed to come through all year. He's hitting 197. but he hasn't failed to come through all year. He's actually been one of the best players in the National League, and he's hitting over 300 still. He's got his mid-900s OPS, so he strikes out. It's going to happen. They have 5 plate appearances a game. Manny Machado with the runner at third. Manny's running an 8-game hitting streak. He has been producing for this team. He just didn't in that spot, and he fell behind, and he struck out. And then Xander Bogaerts, he actually has been recently producing. It's hard to be overly critical. He swung at a pitch that was out of the zone. It was a damn good pitch. It was probably the best pitch Devin Williams threw, a changeup that fell out of the zone that was 3-2 that missed 4 inches low. That's going to happen. Now, you're going to put it under a microscope when it's Yankee Stadium, 10th inning, and then you lose on a sac fly. Like, what are you going to do about that? There's a runner at second. He gets moved to third. You lose on a sac fly. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? So they lose the series. I'd feel way differently if they were 13-23. And that's the manner in which they lost these games. They're not. They're 23-13. It's hard to be honest and factual and critique and be overly critical right now. If they go out and lose this series to Colorado, maybe the conversation changes. But if they go out here this weekend and take care of business and win 2 out of 3 and get home 25-14, that's a great start.
Yeah, you know what the best recipe is after you lose 2 tough games on the road to a really good Yankees team?
The Rockies.
An off day followed by a 3-game series with Colorado after Colorado just played a doubleheader today. That's a good recipe.
There's your recipe.
That's your recipe to get better. And by the way, if they do, like Sunday night comes and they've lost 2 or 3 to the Rockies or worse, then it's a different tone. But after these last 2 games at Yankee Stadium, a 10-run 7th, 8th inning given up by the bullpen, after the bullpen has been fantastic all year, like we said, you kind of just have to laugh it off. It's like, okay, if you're going to, have a blow up, might as well have a big blow up. And this is the first one all year, so go at it.
Now, we do need to discuss on the other side the role that Jim played in the bullpen unwinding the last 2 days. As in, how much of this is Jim's fault and how much of this is the Padres' fault?
Well, we know how much of it is my fault.
It's all your fault.
Correct.
And we'll explain that on the other side. And we'll hear from Mike Shildt. This was postgame last night on Dylan Cease and Jackson Merrill. Darnay Trip is going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. We've got a giveaway.
He looks so big
Jim's
on me.
headphones look bizarre on him. You can see him on
weird.
YouTube. Search for Jon and Jim 760. How much of this is Jim's fault? Plus, we'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up next. It's Jon and Jim. All right, there is an all-new iHeartRadio app, and you can put Jon and Jim and San Diego Sports 760 in your presets. When you do that, you can listen to the show live, Jon and Jim, weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. So download the all-new iHeartRadio app, put us in your presets, San Diego Sports 760, and Jon and Jim. You can listen to live play-by-play and the show and more. So Jim is going to be flustered all day. It doesn't take a lot to fluster either of us. I mean, that's an accurate statement, right? If anything is wrong with me, the whole show's off.
Right.
Like if I have my nose hurts, the whole show's off. If you sneeze the whole show's off. Today, you don't have your headphones, so the whole show is going to be messed up.
How do you wear these things?
I love it. Now, I don't have what you have. Those are bigger than mine.
I can't.
These are a little, seriously, put these on for a second and tell me, are they more comfortable?
All right, hold on.
Yeah. They're a little more comfortable, right?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they're way more comfortable, except I can't hear myself. It's like hollow. Oh wait, turn my headphones on.
Well, you're over here, dude.
Oh, that's why.
I don't keep my headphones loud because I don't want to lose my hearing.
Okay.
Unlike you.
I'm like mini
dangerously.
Hartman.
You live dangerously. Hartman, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Hartman, so we have these headphone, I don't even know what they are.
Amplifiers?
What is this? Like a
Volume
knob?
It's a volume knob.
We have a knob in here, okay?
Yeah, wow. Okay.
And if you turn the knob all the way up, you'll lose your hearing.
Correct.
Hartman had the thing full tilt for 3-hour shows for a decade here.
60 years.
Yeah, probably true.
Dude, I remember when he used to do shows from LA sometimes, and his headphones would be so loud
you could hear it.
You could hear it on the microphone, and he'd be like, "Oh, I don't know what the sound's coming from." I was like, "Steve, it's your headphones. Turn your head," but then I can't hear anything.
I think I might hear it coming through your headphone right now, Jim.
My headphone?
I don't know.
I don't have this thing too loud. Anyway,
I hear the show somewhere.
Whatever.
Okay, your volume's off on your computer, right?
Oh no, it's not.
That's why.
Wait, no, it is. There we go.
All right. Here's what I wanted to do. Let's get back on track, if possible.
It's not.
Mike Shildt postgame. So the Padres lose Dylan Cease, who was pitching beautifully, and that Jackson Merrill gets hit flush by a fastball late in the game, stays in the game. He's just coming off the IL. The kid has been unbelievable in the 12 games he's played this year. This was Mike Shildt postgame on the injuries.
Just now getting feedback on it. The training staff's not overly concerned. A little bit of cramp. He evaluated. He wanted to keep pitching. First of all, let's start with the fact that he threw the ball fantastic. Legitimate no-hit stuff. It's going to be a decision about whether that was going to be a combined win or his. But Bellinger had something to say about it. I thought he threw the ball great, and like I said, got a little cramp. Felt it. To his credit, said something about it. Said he could have kept going, but didn't make sense at the moment. So we'll evaluate it, see what happens.
It looked like Dylan was flexing his hand a little bit. What is your level of relief if it is just a cramp?
Quite high. Yeah. Again, the trainer said initially he's optimistic. We've been down this road. We'll see what it looks like. Dylan wasn't overly concerned in the moment. Again, thought he could still pitch. Said something about how he felt. It was good. He was able to communicate that, got him out of there, and, literally just got the field. So it's hard for me to give you any more than that.
That decision, once you knew there was something, was a no-brainer, right?
No-brainer.
The other decision that you could have potentially had, what were you kind of thinking as Dylan carried that no-hitter into the 7th inning?
Yeah, it's you get to a certain point and you want to know, okay, he's on regular rest, he's going to get extra rest. He's had, because he's throwing a no-hitter, except for the all catcher's interference, virtually no stress. He's 99 leading into the inning before. He was going to have to be under 90 pitches and then give him a chance and be in a more of a hitter situation. Because not only are we dealing with the no-hitter in play, we got a 1-0 ball game at that point, and we've got guys in the bullpen that we have confidence in. So it was going to be a read it and react situation.
Jackson, is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's got him in the forearm. Tough kid. Another big game from Jackson in the homer, the go ahead at the time RBI. But he's sure doesn't feel great, but he doesn't feel like he's going to be compromised moving forward.
All right, Mike Shildt postgame on Cease and Merrill, and it's at least encouraging and hopefully in the end good news on both of these players. And I think more significant is a starting pitcher in Dylan Cease, because any injury could be so long. It could be so significant where you get hit by a pitch, okay, you're going to get back. But an arm injury can be everything.
Well, now 2 times on this trip, you got Tatis getting hit. He thought his season was over. Luckily, he came back. Merrill, he stayed in the game, which is good. He's not coming out. He's like, you take me out of this game, I'm fighting you.
At first, it looked bad.
Of course,
and then
it
I
did.
saw the replay of where it got him, and there's like kind of a meteor part of the arm, but it didn't look good.
No, still, anytime a player gets hit in like an awkward spot,
Yep.
you just hope that it's not, bad. You don't hope it's not some type of random fracture or whatever it could be. So luckily, sounds like Jackson Merrill's fine. And sounds like Dylan's fine too. But again, you never know with injuries.
What's their schedule look like? Is the off day today, but is there an off day heading into the home stand? There isn't.
No, but there's an off day next Thursday as well.
Okay. So if he were to stay on turn, so to speak, he would pitch, well, not the 3 games in Colorado. He would pitch the second Angels game, which would be Tuesday night. So he'd go from a Wednesday to a Tuesday. He'd be on 1 additional day's rest anyway if he pitched Tuesday night at home against the Angels. So hopefully that's the plan. Not miss a turn of the rotation, get the extra day because you have an off day, and throw again on Tuesday. And hopefully it looks like he looked at Yankee Stadium. But you're right. I mean, he was awesome. Like all those questions we had for the first month of the season, he put them to the side until he left the mound, like clenching his fist.
Yeah, I just initially thought it was like a blister because we were watching it
the same thing. Yep.
Without the sound on, and we're like, did he just pop a blister?
Yep.
And that's what happened. It wasn't what happened, but I look at everything that happened after he left the game, and it gives me comfort knowing that he just stayed in the dugout. No trainer was around him. No trainer was talking to him. It was a pretty quick discussion when they got to the mound, and he was smiling, and he didn't seem like anything was bad, but just taking precautionary, being precautionary is the way to go here. You don't want to push it, and he pitched beautifully last night, and they had an opportunity to win that game too. So he did his job, and hopefully Dylan's back.
Yeah, absolutely. They will certainly need him, and certainly if he's going to pitch like that this year. All right, on the other side, we're going to hear from Tom Verduchi on Jackson Merrill, who has just completely burst onto the scene in such a short period of time, including here in 2025. We're in 12 games. He's made such a profound impact on the Padres. So we'll hear from Tom Verduchi coming up. Darnay Trip is on the show today, our buddy from NBC7. Stay with us, Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Discover Padres. They have an off day today after losing 2 of 3 to the Yankees. They will take on the Rockies starting tomorrow for a 3-game series to wrap up their 9-game road trip. And NBA action tonight, just one game. Warriors-Timberwolves game 2, 5:30 tip time. Of course, Steph Curry is out of that game with a hamstring strain. Guess what? Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past based on February 2024 Nielsen report. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Darnay Trip is on the show today. We also have a giveaway for you in the 4 o'clock hour. Willie Nelson with Bob Dylan. That's coming a week from tonight. North Island Credit Union Amphitheater will give those tickets away. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. So lost in last night was Jackson Merrill's brilliance. You hate to waste it, truly. And also he got hit by a pitch. So we've been talking about that. But he homers off Max Fried. No one does. Did you see the note, Jim? What was it like? Was it Fried's sweeper or slider to a lefty has never been hit out, and he took him out with that pitch? What was it?
Yeah, I sent it to you last night.
Oh, so you saw the note?
I did see the note.
Did you say what was the note?
The note is since 2023, Max Fried has thrown 111 sweepers to left-handed hitters. No left-handed hitter had homered off any of those 111 sweepers. Jackson Merrill just did that.
Okay, so he did that.
Night.
That's impressive against a guy with a 1 ERA, an actual 1 ERA.
Thanks to Clark on Twitter.
Thank you, Clark. And then later in the game, in a 1-1 game, he provides the go-ahead RBI base hit. So he had a massive return the last 2 days, and in 12 games has this like 1,200 OPS with 4 home runs. He's second on the team in home runs.
He's hitting 400?
He's hitting 400 on the nose in 12 games. What can this kid not do? Becomes the next question, because so far he's basically done everything.
There is no question to me that Jackson Merrill is the most clutch player on the Padres. It's not close.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to ask me right now, you need to pick one Padres player, season on the line, game 7, 2 outs, World Series, runner at third. Who are you picking? I'm picking Jackson Merrill. It's like the easiest decision ever. Jackson Merrill is the most clutch player on the team. It's not even close. And frankly, he has become, in a year plus, one of the most clutch players in the entire sport.
Yeah, you just have a good feeling that something's going to happen, that he's going to come through. And he does it in the most ridiculous ways. 2 strikes or 2 outs or lefty on lefty against someone like Max Fried in the Bronx, his second game back. Like all those things, you just add them all up. And man, getting him back and putting him in the middle of this lineup and batting him cleanup. You'd like to think the offense, we spent some time on this yesterday, I think, on Jon and Jim. You'd like to think the offense takes that next step, because the offense has been fine. Truthfully, when you look inside the numbers, maybe it's been below average. Runs scored, it's been below average. But they didn't have Merrill for 24 of their 36 games. Now they have him. They didn't have a rise for a period of time. I know he was hitless at Yankee Stadium. I just feel like this offense probably improves, and probably the reason why is Jackson Merrill.
Now, are they 0-2 since his return? Yeah, small sample size though, but I would much rather have Jackson Merrill back in this lineup than not. And the last 2 games, he's been fantastic for this team. Got a home run, got a go-ahead RBI there in the game last night. Then in the first game, he came back, had a double his first at bat, another single in his second at bat, 2 hits in his return. He does everything that you ask of a player and more. He is so confident at the plate. He always puts together good at bats. And if he puts together a bad at bat, it's very rare. Like, it is very rare to see Jackson Merrill put together a bad at bat. He is always battling. He's always fighting. And that's what you just like love to see in your favorite baseball players, is they just never give up an at bat. And Jackson Merrill never gives up an at bat.
No doubt. Let's hear from Tom Verduchi. So Tom Verduchi, who's covered baseball for basically his entire career. He's been a color analyst on World Series, I don't even know how many times in his career, but he was on MLB Network, MLB Central, and had this to say about Jackson Merrill.
I am so impressed because he beat two of the Yankees' best pitchers and their best pitches in this game. I looked at this matchup against Max Fried, and Max Fried is a legit 7-pitch guy now. And his game has really changed with the sweeper. He went 3 years to 2023. He went from a slider to the sweeper. And that sweeper is among the 3 most moving pitches in terms of horizontal movement. And you can see each year it's gotten better and better. It's become a real wipeout pitch, an elite pitch, not just the toss it in every once in a while pitch. So this is what Jackson Merrill was up against. Looking at the way this pitch moves, you go back to 2023. Here's Fried on the left here. Watch, there's a little loop in this, right? Well, he's tightened up this break where it has much more horizontal movement than vertical movement. And it's become a real wipeout pitch. That's crazy movement. So first time up last night, Fried figures, I'm going to throw him a sweeper. Look at Max's reaction. He knew he got away with that, right? Left it up a little bit, almost took him out the other way. That tells you what kind of power. So next time up, Max says, you know what? I'm going back to that pitch. Oh, but not there. Look at Max's reaction. He knows you cannot leave that pitch inner half to a great hitter. That's the back wall of the bullpen. So later in the game, Luke Weaver comes in. Aaron Boone brought in his best pitcher, but tie game late. His best pitch is that four-seamer at top of the zone. Had given up 1 hit on elevated fastballs all year. Count in his favor, Luke says, here's my fastball. And Merrill beats him. This guy's just off the IL. Max Fried had not given up a home run on a sweeper all year. And Fried had given up really 1 hit at all on that pitch. Now, here's my comp, Freddie Freeman. I know it's high praise, but look at the swings. Almost identical. Guys who hit with their hands high, have a steep path to the baseball, and cover every place in the zone. I don't use that comp lightly, right, Laura. Compare anybody to Freddie. I never thought I'd see anybody with a setup and swing like Freddie Freeman. It's so unique and so good. Jackson Merrill is pretty darn close.
Okay, so Hall of Famer. Perfect. Just turned 22. His second game is a 22-year-old.
It's just when you watch him play and he's doing things like he did last night and on Tuesday night, coming off the IL, his first at bat off the IL, rips a rocket down the right field line. Last night, you heard Verduchi just talk about it. We were talking about it. You have the utmost confidence when he's at the plate. And we had this discussion last night of like end of the game. You have to choose between Manny, Tatis, and Merrill. Like, I'm sorry, it's not even close. It's Jackson Merrill.
I agree. I would go with Merrill. That's not necessarily a knock on Todd Machado because not. Merrill has been so good. I mean, we told you earlier in the week, Machado in his career with the bases loaded, for example, is at like 354. So, and Machado, you talk about serious Hall of Fame conversations. He's getting there. He's like everyone's now. He is absolutely getting there, and he's likely getting there on the first ballot. So it's not to be disrespectful towards Machado. And Tatis is still such a young player that it's not personal. But Jackson Merrill just has that it factor in those clutch situations. Machado, of course, at times has. Of course, Tatis has as well. Jackson Merrill's special. They got him on discount, I think. I think it'll prove to be that at $135 million or whatever. That's great. It's great for the Padres. It's great for their fan base. But if this is the player they have for the next decade, I can't wait to watch it play out. It's basically the point.
I think it is going to be the player they're going to have for the next decade.
But I agree.
Like,
still going to do it, but I agree.
I still have to do it, right? The sophomore slump talk, right? He's already kind of put that to bed early on. Like, you think I'm going to have a bad season? He's going to have slumps. Every player does. Yep. Every player does. But so far in his career, whenever he has slumped, and we've talked to Kevin about this, it doesn't last long. Mm-hmm. It does not last long because of the swing he has. It's a swing that, like Freddie Freeman, doesn't produce many slumps. And that's what makes him so special is the type of swing that he has, the type of mentality he has, the player that he is. Rarely are you going to see him go into these like prolonged slumps because his swing is, I'm not going to say it unslumpable, if that's even a term.
Right.
But it's pretty close.
Well, like listen to this in his career, which is so brief. Okay. Because I just pulled up splits like month by month in his career. Listen to his hit per month. March, April, 307. May, 298. June, 320. His only quote unquote off month of his career, last July, he hit 259 Just isn't bad. Now his OPS was 690. Then in August last year, 303. In September, October last year, 309. So let me say again, 307, 298, 320, 259 for a month, 303, 309. He's been incredibly consistent in that rookie year, now into his second year. And to your point about like slump proof, his worst month, he hit 259. A lot of guys aren't going to hit 259 for a season.
Xander Bogaerts.
Right.
Like that month for Merrill is like a good month for Xander.
Honestly,
or like his average.
Yeah, an average month. You're right. So I think it proves your point. I think the guy's going to be incredibly consistent. And if there was a question when he came up, like, oh, is he going to develop into a power hitter? Yes, he is. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani, but will he be able to hit 30 home runs in the major leagues? How could he not?
He's hit 4 in
12 games.
12 games this year.
And what did he hit last year? 24?
24. And he had 90 plus RBIs.
So yes, he's going to develop into a 30 home run hitter because he hit 24 last year and he's hit 4 in 12 games this year. So he's got everything you want in a player. He's got that sweet swing. He's very, like scout speak, toolsy. He's a great fielder. He runs well. He hits for power and he hits for average. And he's clutch.
All right. So if we're going to compare him to Freddie Freeman, or if Tom Verduchi is going to compare.
No, just go Ruth. Where's Babe Ruth?
Well, Babe Ruth. Let me check his numbers. So, all right. If I'm looking at Freddie Freeman, I mean, look.
Give me his first two.
Early on in Freddie's career, 21 homers, 282 average, 23 homers, 27 homers. Then and then 18 homers. Then he exploded in 2016 at 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
34 homers, 28 homers, 23 homers, 38 homers. So, yeah, I definitely 31 homers. I could absolutely see the comp between Merrill and Freeman. And you could even argue if Jackson puts up a season this year where he does hit 30 home runs, that he will have already started off better in his career than Freddie Freeman, who, was finished second in Rookie of the Year voting. A guy that was fairly consistent for the Braves. He didn't really fully pop as far as his power goes until 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Jackson Merrill at 22 years old, the power is like coming on, and it's coming on fast.
I completely agree with that. I really do. All right, more on the Padres and what's ahead this weekend in Denver as they get ready for a homestand that kicks off next Monday against the Angels. Plus, we'll turn our attention to the NBA moving ahead on the show as well. And Darnay Trip, NBC7, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. here today. We've got that giveaway, Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. San Diego FC, you just heard the promo. Back Saturday on the road, St. Louis SC. You can hear the match live Saturday evening, 5 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. Darnay Trip will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We have Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan tickets to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. We will get you caught up on the NBA postseason as well. But okay, let's look ahead here for the Padres because we've been spending a lot of time on their health on this Yankees series. So Rockies for 3 in Denver. Padres not only swept the Rockies earlier this year at Petco, Rockies didn't score.
Historic series.
And the Rockies have been historically bad.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the Padres, we keep using the word historical or like history. The Padres have not had a great history at Coors Field. They've certainly lost series there that they're supposed to win. So this isn't a formality series is the way I would look at it. But 3 in Denver where just go win the series and you've got a 6-3 road trip and then you're back home for the Angels beginning Monday night. Things can get wonky at Coors Field. We've said that a lot over the years and we'll see, but I still like my chances that they can go there and win that series and get home off a 6-3 trip.
So the probables are Vasquez tomorrow, Kolek Saturday, Pivetta on Sunday.
Okay.
The Rockies are 6-29 on the year.
Does that include game 1 of their doubleheader today? That was 10-1 in the 9th inning, or are they 6-30 actually?
They're actually 6-30. You're right.
So now they're 6-30. They play again today.
Lost
against
5 in
the
a row.
Tigers.
Their run differential is -99.
So they're on true hard times.
Yes, they are. They are going to be the worst team in baseball this year, and they're going to be pushing for that worst team in baseball history record this season as well.
And by the way, the Pirates today fired their manager, Derek Shelton.
All his fault.
Obviously, it has nothing to do with him. But if I were the Rockies, I honestly give the Rockies credit here. I would not part ways with Buddy Black in season. You have no hope regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Just see it through.
Yeah.
Do it the right way. And honestly, getting rid of Derek Shelton 30 or 40 games into your year, that's not saving your season. Just like getting rid of Buddy Black at 6-30, you have no chance either way. I say let the ship sink, both Pirates and Rockies, and then make a decision at the end of the year. But yeah, 6-30 for a once proud organization like that.
Oh my gosh.
That's hard. That's hard to go through.
They were never once proud.
Okay,
explain to me.
I'm
You're
listening.
thinking when you honestly said seriously that they're a once proud franchise.
All right, I'm on Team Jim now.
Okay.
But here's where my brain was.
Okay.
They've drawn like wildfire in their 30-year history. They've been immensely popular in the state of Colorado. Coors Field has previously been a gem. And they've had a decade. They've had players that have been good. They've had some crazy offensive numbers. And they've had stretches where they've been relevant. Who's on Team Jim that the Rockies were never once proud?
Crickets for you.
Right. Who's on Team John?
Crickets.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Mark. It's 3-1 John. John,
once
Brent,
proud
Marshall.
franchise?
Listen, okay, give me a once proud MLB franchise right now. I'll give you one. Cincinnati Reds or Oakland A's.
I'll give you one. St. Louis Cardinals.
That's not, I mean, you wouldn't even say once proud. They're proud.
I know.
They've got the most World Series in National League history.
But they have taken a dip here the last couple of years.
Absolutely have. But the Cardinals are a proud franchise. Wouldn't you agree with the A's? The A's history is terrific.
Did you say Pirates?
Pirates is a great one. They had 3 World Series in the 1970s.
Yes.
That's been a while.
Would you say
Rockies?
No, dude.
I think we just summarized them.
The Marlins?
No, not the Fish. They were never proud.
The Angels?
No.
They've done more than the Rockies.
You're right. That's why I've changed my tune. But there's no way. I mean, the Angels aren't once proud is Pittsburgh. Once proud is the Athletics organization.
Yes.
And
but
there's one
like
other
the
in
Sacramento
there.
A's now.
I said some other team in there and I forget who it was.
The Twins?
The Twins is a half decent one. Although it's not like they're on. I don't even know what we're talking about.
I don't know either.
My point is go beat the Rockies 2 out of 3 games. And people are going to tell me if they only win 2 out of 3, how could you only win 2 out of 3 against the Rockies? And if they sweep the Rockies, they're going to say, go play someone good.
Yeah, go beat a once proud franchise this weekend.
Thank you. It's exactly what I was thinking.
Gotta do it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Now, you don't have Michael King. You don't have Dylan Cease.
That
Randy
doesn't
Vasquez
matter. Doesn't matter.
lacked command. I agree. Go win the series.
Like, put up a 4 spot in the first inning tomorrow. Just say
score some more than 3 runs a game.
You know, the one of the crazy stats that I found the other night is that they've only scored 10 runs, more than 10 runs. And by the way, it's only 10 runs.
So more than 10 runs 0 times.
More than 10 runs 0 times. They've scored 10 runs in a game 1 time this year. So there has not been a 12-3 win like on Tuesday night in the Bronx for the Yankees. They haven't had really many blowouts this year.
They also, other than 12-3, have they been blown out? How many losses do they have by more than 3 runs? Is that easily accessible for you? Because they only have 13 losses. So how many have been by more than 3?
I got 4. So
only 4 times this year they've lost by more than 3 runs.
They lost 7-1 to the Cubbies on that
That.
Saturday. They lost 6-0 to Detroit on that Wednesday. And then they lost 12-3 the other night to the Yankees. So they got 3 losses this year
by more than 3.
More than 3 runs.
And how many wins do they have this year by more than 3 runs?
Oh, I mean,
hard to do. They have 23 wins.
Yeah, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8 wins this year
by more than 3 runs. Yeah, they've had a lot of, which means they've won a lot of games by 3 runs or less. Of course, that's what good teams do, and they've got a really good bullpen, and they have Robert Suarez. So
that's the thing is,
but they're going to win with their formula.
They are. That's exactly. You're right.
Know?
But it would be nice to put up some more runs. I mean, you got a top 4 in your lineup now that is finally healthy, that could put up some runs. You know, they're right now. They scored 143 runs this year, and you did the math last night. That's
under 4,
less than 4 runs per game. So it's like 3.98 runs per game.
That's exactly what it is.
That's not gonna really cut it. They need to bump that up to like 4.98.
Yeah, I will probably not kick and scream, but if we go through this Denver series against the Rockies, Colorado, and they scored 12 runs, 12 combined total runs in 3 games, an average of 4 per game, or 13 runs or fewer. I'd be like, no. You need to. This is hopefully the get right series. Now it's easy to say that. You still got to go do it. I'm looking for, and I don't need 12 runs, but give me 7, give me 6. 7, 6, 7 in 2+ wins. I think it's got to be attainable, man. It has to be in Denver against the Rockies this weekend.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we have yet to see this year is an offensive explosion from this team.
You're right.
They've scored 10 runs 1 time. That's
not very often in 36 games.
Yeah, they haven't won like, I mean, how many games last year did they win like
more
by double digits and scored double digits?
More than this. Way better pace than this.
Yes.
Way better pace.
Last year, they were a top offense in baseball.
They were an awesome offense.
But their lineup was much deeper.
It was.
So,
yeah, no, I agree with you. Oh, my gosh. All right. I need to tell our listeners, I started a brand new hobby within the last 24 hours that I want to share with everyone on the other side, because it's basically changed my life and could change the show, because I might be walking away from the show within the next 3 hours.
Hold on. Take the word change your life and replace it with consume your life.
Correct. And could it lead to a divorce? It's possible.
It will happen.
Am I concerned? Not necessarily right
not
now.
At all.
So I'll explain that on the other side. Plus, we need to hear where Colin may have been right here on San Diego Sports 760 when it comes to Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. Darnay Trip will join us at 5 p.m. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Padres, they have an off day today, coming off their series loss to the Yankees yesterday in extra innings. Tomorrow, they'll start a 3-game series with the worst team in baseball, the Colorado Rockies. Randy Vasquez will be on the mound for the Padres. And NBA playoff action tonight. Game 2, Timberwolves and Warriors. Tips off at 5:30 in Minnesota. The Warriors will be without Steph Curry tonight due to his hamstring strain. Straight Talk might not be on your shopping list, but it should be. Next time you're grabbing some milk off the shelf at your local Walmart, stop by the Straight Talk aisle and switch to Real Limited Data. It's quick and convenient. It won't even take up room in your cart.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We do have our buddy Darnay Trip, our buddy, who we just bother obsessively all day long.
You just did the
us.
Yeah, our buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I consider us to be his buddy. I just don't know if he considers us to be.
Yeah, because we annoy the hell out of him.
We annoy the hell out of him. The fact that he puts up with us is somewhat remarkable.
We're in a text chain, and the text chain sometimes
is a little.
I'm surprised he hasn't blocked us yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do agree with that. Anyway, Darnay from NBC7 will join us coming up at 5.
Sometimes obsessively bug him.
No, I don't. To come on the show?
Yes.
I don't bug him. It's for our show.
I know it is.
No, he said on Monday, hey, I can't come on. I didn't watch this past weekend. I was away. Hit me up later in the week. And we're like, we don't care if you, what?
Called him out for not watching.
Well, he said he was away.
I know.
I'm not calling it. Who cares? He doesn't have some responsibility to watch every Padres game.
He also says he doesn't feel like replying to us dweebs anymore sometimes.
Well, anyway, he'll join us coming up at 5 p.m.
Yeah, our best friend ever.
Yeah, we're best friends.
Totally.
I'm positive of it.
Yep. He loves us.
We have Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan tickets. We'll give those away in the 4 o'clock hour. So last night we do a wrap-up show like we always do, right? And they lost, so it was what it was. And then after the wrap-up show, I think I was already thinking about it during the show. I'm like, I just have this like pang. You know what I mean by a pang? Like this feeling that I need to get into card collecting.
Oh, no.
And the reason I say it, I think, is my dad was a collector, not a card collector.
What he collects?
But he collects stamps.
Okay.
And books. Okay.
Okay.
And when I was a kid, I loved cards. But a lot of kids, 80s, 90s kids loved cards. Sure, whatever. That's fine. But now that I have a 6-year-old and I'm kind of like trying to force everything on him, like to make him like me, even though like that's like the worst possible thing for like Kristen. But I want him to like sports and I want him to, all these things, right? But you don't want your kid to be the exact, like imagine if your kid, Jim, your first kid is like, oh, daddy, can we please go to the piano store and like get all the new sheet music? Like what? I said, what if it's like Oppo Jim? Daddy, let's wake up at 5 a.m. and play piano. I mean, that's not what you're into.
Let's start our day off early, Dad.
Right. Like, what do you absolutely not do that, like, imagine if your kid was doing the things that you have no interest in? Like, hey, let's go to the ballet. Like, that's not necessarily you.
Yeah, but if my kid liked the ballet,
fair. But Kristen's very much like, I'm going to make our kid, like
mold our kid into what I want.
She's forcing him to be like something, regardless of whether he wants to or not. I don't know about the strategy, but it's working to some extent. Okay.
Well, I will probably do the same thing.
You know what I mean? Like, if you like Star Wars, guess what? You'll probably get him like a Chewbacca hat. And then if he's like, Daddy, I hate Star Wars. I'm like, John, I hate movies. You'll like want to disown the kid.
I know that if I have a boy, that kid will get all the Star Wars, all the MCU, all that stuff. And it will be, I will like program it into that kid's head.
Exactly. So you're proving
he
this
loves
point.
Iron Man.
So I'm like, I wanted to get Jones into card collecting. I don't think it'll work, but I can at least try. I personally want to get into it. For some reason, I feel like I missed out. There's like a 35-year window where I missed out from like 1990 until right now. And it's changed a lot, I feel like, over the last 35 years. So I started watching YouTube videos at 11 p.m. last night. And how late did you stay stopped.
Up? You stayed up all night, right?
I stayed up fairly late. I probably watched videos or listened in bed until 1.
Oh,
I was up by 6. And then I dropped Jones off at school. I did go to Orange Theory, although I thought about not going because I was into a video.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I did do Orange Theory. And then for 2 hours after Orange Theory, I watched videos on card
So
collecting.
what is right now like causing
The
this
Holy Grail?
itch? Yeah. What is causing this itch?
So now I need that Koufax.
No, it was so funny because I have back in 2020 during the pandemic.
Yeah, you got into Pokemon.
I was like, you know what? I want to see if I have any like Pokemon cards lying around somewhere at my mom's house and see if they're worth anything. And I don't know what happened where I got an itch.
Right.
And I fulfilled that itch by buying like Pokemon cards and researching it. And my buddy was telling me like, oh, I got this Pokemon card. And
That's
we're looking
what I'm
up
saying.
we're looking up all like the prices and what they're worth. And I was buying packs and it lasted for a good like 2
1
months. And then after 2 months,
You were over it.
I was so over it.
I'm like, for whatever reason, I need to hear from Brent because Brent is the same age as me and grew up collecting the same cards as I would have been collecting. But like, I don't know what it is, dude. I don't think it's a 2-month thing. I think I've now determined it's my life goal to come up with I want to be a card collector. I might switch professions. I spent 15 years doing minor league baseball games. Now I've done 10 years doing sports talking, doing play-by-play for San Diego State. Maybe
Okay.
I spend another 15 years collecting cards on the back end.
After the show, I want you to go home. I want you to have everything prepared, like to tell Kristen. And I want you
Do I have to break the news to her? It's not like I'm telling her I'm moving out.
No, but you're letting her know, hey, I am done being a sports broadcaster. And now my entire life and our entire life is collecting cards. So we're going to have to take out a loan.
We're selling the home.
We're selling the house. We're taking out a loan.
Because we need that Tatis rookie.
We're probably going to have to sell our brand new car that we just got.
Right.
And we might have to dip into our savings a little bit.
No, I'm just selling the house.
But it's going to be worth it. And then start a YouTube channel.
I would love to start a card collecting YouTube channel.
And not only be just you, but be a family affair. So it's you,
I'm
your
pulling
wife,
you into this.
and Kristen. I'm
pulling you into the channel.
No,
you're
I'm
doing
not.
the channel.
No.
After the wrap-up show, we're doing card collecting hour like it's QVC. Brent, what do you got?
Well, I believe this is what professionals call a midlife crisis, John.
Honestly, I think it is. It
Yeah,
really is.
well,
I honestly believe that's
But
what
instead
it
of just
is.
going out and buying like a Corvette, you're just going to buy like $50,000 for.
I honestly have thought about like, what is my budget? How much money can I afford? By the way, at the end of the day, it's just like cardboard. Like, what am I really doing?
Not even cardboard. It's like paper.
It's like plastic cardboard, but I just like the idea of it right now.
Yeah, some husbands are going to be worried that their wife's going to see that charge to like Cheetahs or some strip club. John's going to be like, oh God, she's going to see the baseball
No,
card shop.
mine is Cheetah's cards.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So it was so funny. Today you come in, and I know a little bit about like cards and grading. I remember before when I told you about like the Pokemon cards, and I was like, yeah, if it's graded a PSA 10,
like,
Gem Mint. You're like, what are you talking about? You come in today with the vocabulary of like a 20-year card collector.
Yeah. What were we breaking down earlier?
You're breaking down like the grades of cards and the type of card and like the price and the certain type of card.
I
Like,
watched it all.
dude, it was wild.
I'm fully all in right now.
Well, that's one of the things that's changed since we were a kid. When me and John were kids, we used to go to like the bookstore and you'd buy a Beckett monthly.
Yeah, I remember.
And it would have like the price guide for all the different cards. And then it'd have 3 listings for like, pristine, okay condition, and crappy condition.
Yeah, exactly.
There wasn't no PS this and like as technical as it gets now. It was pretty much you would buy the Beckett and go, okay, it's in decent shape.
Listen,
So that's how much it's worth.
Did I download a couple of apps?
Oh my gosh, you did.
Yeah, do I have the 7-day free trial of Market Movers?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
you need help
because I don't want to get scammed. I don't want to go all in here and buy the Tatis rookie for like $600 if I get it for $82.50.
Is it appropriate to get like cater an intervention? I just want to know now.
He really did. He really my camera just messed up.
Dude, listen. You want to be educated.
Why is this not
You
working?
need to, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, I don't know what my first purchase is going to be, but it's going to be something good. Now, do I go with a box? Do I go with packs? Do I just buy cards?
I'm reaching out to people on
Let Jones
Instagram.
pick it out.
Here's my advice. Yeah, here's my advice.
I like the idea on Jones.
So, what are you currently looking at to buy? Like, are you looking at packs or
No,
look
that's
at
what I'm
actual card?
asking.
No. Okay. like, tell me, do you want a pack or do you want a card?
Well, two things. I think I want to do two things. I want to, if I buy the boxes, I just want to not open them.
That's impossible.
It is impossible. But to make up for not opening the boxes, I'll buy individual cards of what I want. Not as fun?
No, not even close. I would buy a couple packs. Like, dude, honestly, just go to Target, dude.
Target, dude, those aren't even like the hobby packs.
Oh my God.
You like my that's like that's like mid.
You're not
it's basic, right?
okay. For
I don't know what the term is, but there's no value in that. I go buy a Topps pack from Target. What am I going to find? A 2-cent, Alec Jacobs. Sorry, bud, if you're listening. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to find in the Topps?
You could find something good in there.
No, I agree.
Go buy a Topps pack. Go buy 2
packs. That's it.
Yes, start small, dude.
I want to spend like $1,000.
I know you do. Trust me.
When I buy,
know.
I go all in. This was my father. My dad would buy everything of something and then lose complete interest.
Here's what's going to happen. You buy like 2 or 3 packs. You open them up at home with Jones.
Yeah, but then he's going to be like, let me look at it. And he's got like raspberries on his hands and like chicken nuggets that aren't even chicken. And then my PSA 10 Tatis autograph card is going to have like chicken on it.
Well, okay. No,
but that was the problem when we were kids because we didn't necessarily know what we were doing with our cards. You're sharing them. You're showing your buddy, hey, I got this tray. And then all of a sudden your PSA 10 becomes a PSA 1.
I had so many Pokemon cards.
Yeah, back in the day that you could have made money on.
If I just, when I was like 10 years old, realized, man, 25 years, these would be worth a lot of money. If I just like kept them,
I know. So everyone's
the amount of money I just like wasted there.
Jimmy, you know who he is? He's the dad in the Lego movie.
You are the dad in the Lego movie. You can't get away from it.
Well, he played with the Legos, but he would get mad when his kids would touch them because they would get them dirty and mess with his stuff.
But my advice is,
what's your advice? Seriously, I want to hear it.
All right, since you are on this itch right now, and you're
starting a channel.
I'm not starting a channel with you. You need to scratch this itch, or else you, for the next 2 weeks, are going to be obsessed with it.
There's a card show in San Diego late May.
I bet. Go after work. Go to Target. Get a Topps pack. There is, of course, there is. He's already
front row card show.
It's on his tabs page. It's already saved. Go get a couple packs of cards and open them up. And if you find something, then you're screwed because then you're going to be hooked.
Right.
But if you don't find anything, I guarantee you're going to lose a little more interest. You're going to lose interest gradually, and it's going to be better for your life, John.
You're probably right.
Or else you are going to be addicted to this until you actually get something.
It's just reminding me.
And then when you buy something, you're going to regret it.
But it was so fun. Like when you're 11.
I know, you're not 11.
You're going to I knew you're right. That's
you're 43.
You go to the card store and I'm getting like the O-Pee-Chee, like Eric Lindros. I don't even know. It's probably way more cool when you're 10 without the internet than when you're 40 something with the internet. Like back in the day, like that was like it would like consume my life because there was nothing else going on.
All right, I got an idea.
Okay.
After work, I'm going to go buy some cards.
Oh, put them on Instagram Live or something.
And I'm going to bring them in tomorrow. And we're going to open them up on the show. And we're going to scratch your itch on the show tomorrow.
Okay. Are the listeners going to care? I'm not even overly concerned. Hopefully they will. Just put up with us. Normally we appease our listeners all show long.
This is all about you.
This is something that we needed to address.
Yes.
What are you going to buy though? I want you buying good packs. I don't want some $2 Topps 2025 pack from Target.
Why don't you go do it? This is the thing you want to do. I'm just doing it to like try to help you out.
Right, well, maybe you could buy some $2 packs. That's fine.
If there's no gum in it, it's too new.
It's too new.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I can't find anywhere with
gum still in the pack.
Yeah, there's nowhere.
All right. Where Colin was right on the Boston Celtics on the other side. We'll get to that on the other side. Plus, what on earth was Paul Pierce thinking? We'll get to that this hour as well. Darnay Trip at 5 p.m. Jon and Jim. right, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday with the Bonus Bucks giveaway. That's every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m., including the 3 hours coming up, 4, 5, and 6. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Darnay Trip at 5. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. So last night in the NBA playoffs, he spent a good amount of time on this yesterday in the afternoon, early evening. I mean, it was all Celtics all game, a lot like game one. 18, 19-point leads, actually up to 20 at one point. And as everyone knows by now, they lost the game again. The finish was ridiculous from the Knicks. They outscored the Celtics like 23-6, something like that to close. So, I mean, the Celtics are in a ridiculous hole right now, man. 0-2 heading to New York. And we'll hear from Colin in a moment, but like, is that overcomable? 0-2 heading to the road?
You can overcome it, but it's going to be very difficult. That game on, I believe it's Saturday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern time.
Oh my God. You're saying the game at MSG?
Yeah.
Oh, where the tickets are $1 zillion?
The lowest price ticket is, I just saw like $950.
I buy it. Well, you heard yesterday, Merrill hits the single and ringing throughout Yankee Stadium is "Let's go Knicks" because they just won in that exact moment.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, it will be the biggest game at Madison Square Garden in over 25, 30 years.
That's a great question. Hockey or NBA or just NBA?
No, just NBA.
It's been a while. It's been a really long time.
I would
since like Pacers-Knicks second round series, that type of event.
No, Larry Johnson 4-point play.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Oh well, I guess yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's
that era.
Yep. Then the late 90s when they went to the finals in 99.
The OJ Chase night, they were in the
94,
finals.
95 that was 94.
Yeah, that's going back a little while.
But still, this is easily the biggest game since in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
Up 0-2 over, it's not like they're up 0-2, over any team. It's up 0-2 against the Boston Celtics, one of their rivals.
Yeah, you're 100% right because I'm looking.
That ticket's going to be wild.
Dude, their last trip to the conference finals was Pacers 2000. And they lost that series. Their last win, right? The last time in the NBA Finals was 99. So you're right. I mean, look at they haven't been in the playoffs the last 25 years. Now, the last couple of years they've been in, and they've made the second round and lost. But yeah, they have not been to a conference finals. The New York Knicks have not been to a conference finals since 2000. That's unbelievable. And now they're 2 wins away from that.
Darren's pumping his fist somewhere in Spain.
And if they get there, dude, well, that's the other thing. You're not potentially taking on this great Cavs team. The Cavs might not be there. They're down 2-0. Mm-hmm. And then you maybe get the Pacers, Knicks Pacers. Would anyone sign up for that?
Yeah,
have
Knicks
they ever
Pacers
played before?
They've had a couple good series back in the day.
They had the back-to-back years, 98, 99, and
I just got chills.
2000. So we're on a collision course for Pacers Knicks maybe.
I want that so bad now. Pacers Knicks on TNT because TNT's carrying the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
Okay.
The final time
that they'll have it. Any NBA game.
And
right?
Yep. And you got
Pacers Knicks, Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller will be
calling the game
with Kevin Harlan.
Yeah.
I believe that would be the crew. Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller calling the Eastern Conference Finals between the Knicks Pacers.
Who's the higher seed, lower seed? What's the seeding with Pacers? And
Pacers
Knicks?
would be the seed with home court.
Okay. If we get there.
Knicks would.
Okay, would that? That's why I asked you because I get confused.
Knicks are a 3 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Knicks would have home court.
Wow.
Knicks would have home court in the Eastern Conference Finals if they were to make it there against the Indiana
Pacers. So if they get there, they're probably a slight favorite to make the NBA Finals. And the other thing I would say is the whole thing is wide open, Jim. Because when you look at OKC Denver, the series is tied at 1. So there's no guarantee that OKC right now gets through. I know they won by 1,000 points.
I might have to retract my Denver Nuggets NBA Finals pick.
After last night?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Oklahoma City, by the way, in game 3 in Denver is favored by 5.5 points. So, yeah, people are thinking OKC has figured this thing out.
They're really freaking
You're right.
good.
They're the heavy favorite if they get out of this series. But then T-Wolves Warriors, who knows? I mean, it just feels wide open to me. Maybe it's wide open for the Thunder just to win it all. But no, you don't think it's who knows with T-Wolves Warriors?
Bro, come on. T-Wolves are a 10.5 point favorite tonight.
Only 10.5.
Only 10.5.
Yeah, but last night the Celtics were a 10.5 point favorite.
But at least they had all their players.
Guess what the betting line is game 3 at MSG?
Knicks -1.5.
Celtics -5.5.
Oh,
They
wow.
have to win the game. There is no path down 3-0.
None. And Charles Barkley and Shaq, they made a really good point last night. Even though the Knicks are up 2-0, you got to win game 3.
Otherwise, you give it right back to
Because you go into a game 4 up only 2-1.
And then
guess
you have
what?
to win the game.
Pressure's back on you.
And the other thing we've said a lot with the Celtics, okay, they're down 0-2. What did they shoot from 3 last night?
It was not good.
Yet they're losing games by a point. What's Brent?
They're like 10 for 40, something like that.
So they're shooting 25% in the series, and they're losing games by a point.
Right.
What happens the night, you made this point yesterday, what happens the night they hit 22 threes, which is coming?
They're 10 for 40.
When they hit 20, they're going to win going away.
They've missed 75 3-pointers in the first 2 games of the series.
That's ridiculous.
They're 25 for 100.
Well, what's the math on that? If you're 25 for 100, that's like, what is that, Jim? What would you say percentage-wise that is? What would you say? Was that like 10%? 25 for 100?
It's 25%.
Look at you. It'd be like if you had 25 hits and 100 at bats. You'd be like a what hitter? 25% hitter?
A 250
Would you call him a
hitter?
25%er?
Like a 250. He's a 25%er hitter.
He hits 25%. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Can we hear from Colin on Jason Tatum?
Bad first 2 games for Jason Tatum.
This is Colin.
Just think about this. Close your eyes, unless you're driving and listening on radio. Let's close our eyes. Close our eyes. Think about Magic Johnson. You can see the smile. Think about Michael. You can see that cocky grin. Think about LeBron. You can see the imagery. Pre-game, chalk. You can close your eyes and there's images with stars. Close your eyes now and do it with Tatum. I don't see anything. 26 a night? I don't see anything.
Look, he's not wrong about Tatum, man. He's not. Tatum is a fantastic player. He is a first-team All-NBA type of player. But
is he Trout?
No, because Trout's never won anything. But
true, but baseball's a little different.
I'm not going to compare him to anybody. I'm just going to say that Jason Tatum, while he is a star player, he is not to the level of superstar player, if that makes sense.
So he's not a superstar because of what Colin said or because of his play?
His play. But Colin brings to light, it makes sense. When you think of the greats in the sport, the great all-time players.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jason Tatum has a long way to go even to be considered potentially a great.
Sure.
And it's probably not super fair to criticize Tatum when he has like at least 10 more years minimum left
down
in his
0-2
career.
now.
And he's already had
not up 2-0.
And he already has an NBA title under his belt.
Yeah.
So like a lot of players would die to have
Of course.
Tatum's resume already. But you know, do you see Tatum just leading the team to an NBA Finals and being the best player on the team and being that guy? Because he wasn't last year.
He wasn't? Who was their best player last year?
Oh, Jaylen Brown. Tatum had moments. Tatum definitely had moments where like, holy, you know what?
I'm okay.
But look at the finals, man.
I'm looking at the finals. That would have been 2024?
Yep.
All right, let me just real quick because we'll step aside. What he averaged in the finals last year was 22.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists.
Yeah, look at Jaylen Brown.
Oh, look at Jaylen Brown.
Because Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP last year.
Right.
I'm not saying that Tatum had nothing to do with the final with the win. He absolutely did. But like, is he going to be the guy? What does he do that separates him from other players?
Okay, so this is against the Mavs last year, right?
Yes.
He averaged 20.8 points, 5.4 rebounds, 5 steals.
Jaylen Brown?
Yeah. And Tatum averaged 22.2, 7.8, 7.2. So I'm saying he was right there. Now, Finals MVP, as we've had this conversation with Steph before, isn't the end all be all.
Yeah, Steph should have won in 2015.
That's what I'm saying.
Iguodala won.
Tatum was good. All right, we'll continue the conversation. Plus, Paul Pierce, what are you doing next, Jon and Jim?
This update's brought to you by Discover. Padres, they have an off day today, coming off a series loss to the Yankees as they lost last night in extra innings, 4-3. Next up, they'll take on the worst team in baseball, the Colorado Rockies, starting for a 3-game series tomorrow night in Colorado, where Randy Vasquez will be on the mound for the Padres. And tonight, NBA playoff action, just one game. It's the Warriors and the T-Wolves, game 2 of that series. 5:30 tip-off time there. Of course, Steph Curry is out of the game because of his hamstring strain. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past based on February 2024 Nielsen report. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Your chance to win Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. Darnay Trip will join us at 5. It's probably better with the audio, but whatever. I'm just thinking about it now. Paul Pierce, a number of you heard what he said. He said he would literally walk from his home to the FS1 studio or the Fox studios. He lives in LA, Calabasas, I think, and said he would walk if the Celtics lost game 2. He was that confident heading in. I kind of know. I understand the confidence. I think a lot of people thought they're going to win going away in game 2. Where I actually give him a lot of credit is not what he said. It's what he did. He did it today. He actually walked.
Yeah.
He showed on his phone last night. I thought that was hilarious. He showed that walk map on Google Maps. It shows like, hey, 15-minute drive right now at 10 p.m., but an 8-hour walk. Like he showed that.
Yeah.
And not only did he say he'd walk, he said, I'll do it. He doubled down yesterday. He was like, I'll do it in a bathrobe and without shoes. Now, I think he ended up wearing slippers. Yeah, he actually wore slippers.
But I think he also may have changed into sneakers.
Okay. Well, honestly, I'm fine with that. Like, you know, what are you going to do? Like, rip your feet to shreds to do this? I don't even know how you do it. Is there sidewalk the whole way?
There was a moment that because he was on Instagram Live.
Yep.
And he was walking, and Kevin Garnett drove by him and started like yelling at him, laughing at him, and yelling at him from his car. I thought that was hilarious. But hey,
he made
credit
it.
Where's credit is due. He said that he would walk from his house to the FS1 studio if the Celtics lost game 2. They lost game 2, and he did it.
And he's on the air this afternoon. I mean, he actually left his house, whatever time it was, very early in the morning. And I think it was something like 7 hours later, got there, got to the studios, has been on the air this afternoon. He has just said that his level of concern in the Celtics is only a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10 heading into game 3. So, by the way, it proves this point that we've had to have proven ourselves. Sometimes when you're on live air or like live radio, whatever, you got to be careful.
Yeah, because if I go, the Padres own a World Series this year,
I'm gonna shave my beard, and you haven't shaved a beard in 30 years.
I would do. I mean, that's not a big ask. Like I'm gonna get a tattoo on my face.
Right, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah, I've said things where I'm like, I'll do this.
I'll delete my Twitter if Machado hits a walk-off, and he did the next day.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. That moment, which was what, 3 years ago?
Something like that.
I wasn't right.
Right.
So
then you didn't need to delete.
I didn't need to delete it. Everyone's like, delete it now.
Delete your account.
I said the night before, if Manny Machado hits a walk-off here, I'll delete my Twitter account.
Right.
And he didn't. And then the following night, he did it. And everyone thought, well, it still applies. I'm like, no, it doesn't apply because I only said it for last night's game. So I'm still in the right on that one. And yeah.
What's like the worst example of eating your own words in sports media and then like having to deal with the repercussions? For example, Paul Pierce today's 7-hour walk.
Everything Nick Wright says.
But what are the repercussions? Has he ever had to be like, did he ever have to walk it back and get like you said, a face tattoo? Like, what is the worst thing that someone has said? Remember on social media, like there was all that stuff with like, I'll eat this.
Yeah. Well, the speaking of Nick Wright, who always has to eat his own words, he did 2 years ago, which just pisses me off. Middle of the season, he gets a tattoo. Did you remember this? It says,
what was the tattoo? It said champions?
No, it said never in doubt. So it leaves him like some leeway. If the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl, that tattoo is just random. but he got a tattoo that said "Never in doubt" because he believed that the Chiefs were going to the Super Bowl.
And then they came back from 10 down against what team? It was the Niners that year.
I hate you.
And won the Super. I know. I remember, and this is like a Hartman thing, but you go way back. There was a broadcaster that said, if the Pirates lose this game, I'll walk home. And they had a 10-0 lead in the first inning. They had a long losing streak. They lost the game. And in the offseason, he raised money and he walked from like Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. He walked a 6-hour drive over like weeks to raise money for a charity because he said on the broadcast, if the Pirates lose this game, I'll walk home.
Yeah.
And they did lose the game. So like the point is, it's like what I said about it. Like it stays with you. What I said about Ohtani on some stupid YouTube stream 3 years ago that Jim egged me into. We probably still have the sound.
It's somewhere on social media.
I don't want to hear it.
I can't. I want to go back and check the article in the
Yahoo Japan.
Yahoo Japan.
And I was like, Ohtani sucks. He's the most overrated.
How many
player.
times? But in
But then
our
it sticks with
profession,
you. Mm-hmm.
we are going to be wrong so much, and we get ripped so much for being wrong. It's like at some point, who cares? But
You're right.
You have to also be careful. You can be an idiot and be like, I'm going to eat my own shoe. And then you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
you've said that.
have I?
I think you have. Yeah, Brent said yes.
Maybe.
I recall you saying
I'm
it
an
too.
idiot. So it is.
No,
whatever.
but here's the thing. You're right about being wrong. I have no problem saying, like, I'll give you an example, like a sports take, like, hey, I'll take Machado. I'll trust in Machado to get to 30 home runs, right? Like, how many times do we say that? How many times do we say, I trust Machado to get his numbers? And then let's say at the end of the year, he hits 19 home runs. Okay, we were wrong, but we're the educated place we're coming from is Machado always hits 30 home runs.
Right.
So like it's easy for me to say, hey, I trust Machado to get to 30 home runs or 90 RBIs. And then if you fall short, okay, I can live with it. When you go out on the deep end, when I go, Shohei Ohtani, not only he sucks, like, well,
That's fine.
he's a 50-50 guy. So you got to be careful going that far, I guess.
Yeah, but who cares?
You had the take on Ohtani last year when you got the 50-50. You're like, this is so fake. Or
I did.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
you didn't say fake. You didn't go. You
No,
didn't say that.
I said that Aaron Judge had the better offensive season,
Which he actually did.
and he was the best player in baseball last year, not Shohei Ohtani.
And it's actually accurate.
It's very accurate. Anyway, people in the chat, they're reminding us a couple years ago. Remember when the Padres were facing the, I believe it was the Nationals and Max Scherzer, and I think it was Mark, where he goes, if they win this game, I'll walk from Alpine to Petco.
That's a similar thing.
And the
It did in
Padres
the
won.
offseason, right?
It did in the offseason with Don.
Yes, I remember that.
And
Okay.
I think they raised money for
Some charity. Yeah. So it's been said, it's been done. The thing with Paul Pierce is I would have actually had a problem with it if he didn't do it. Like I'm cool with it. Him saying what he said and then doing it.
Well, when you are
That's
so
cool.
like emphatic with your, if they lose,
Yeah.
I will walk from my home
Dude,
to
how-
the studio.
How pissed was he probably last night watching that thing, knowing what was on the line for him personally, plus just as a Celtic and as a fan now.
I'm sure
How
he's fine.
mad was he?
I'm sure he was definitely mad. I don't think he's like mad the Celtics lost. He's
I think
just mad
to do it.
He's just mad he had to do it.
Exactly.
Because if he didn't do it, he would have gotten
Killed.
destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Coming up at 4:00, we will get to the Ram. Also coming up in the 4:00 hour, your chance to win those tickets. See Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. Darnay Trip, NBC7 will join us coming up at 5 p.m. This is Jon Jim. All right, AM Radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now. Keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. Darnay Trip at 5 p.m. A chance to win Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll get to the wrap coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. We were not going to get an update today on Dylan Cease or Jackson Merrill or Yu Darvish, although there is some encouraging news, I do believe, on Darvish that Kevin spoke with us about yesterday. He's reporting today in the UT as well, which is he's getting close to getting back out on the mound for a rehab start. How close maybe remains to be seen, but it appears as if, and I could find his exact verbiage, but we're getting to the point where we might see Yu Darvish sooner rather than later. Which kind of lines up. We were told maybe before that Padres series early June. Well, that's only a month away. So hopefully we see him at some point in the next few weeks.
Would be a big boost. Absolutely. From what started as just like a fatigued arm turned into couple months here. So they're definitely going to ease him into the season, which I'm totally fine with. They've played great baseball without him. I think Randy Vasquez, Stephen Kolek, and Kyle Hart, to an extent, have filled in beautifully for the absence of Yu Darvish. Like, I'm excited to watch Stephen Kolek start on Saturday, even though it's in Colorado. Randy Vasquez, talking with Kevin yesterday, you can make an argument before last night's Dylan Cease start that Randy Vasquez was a more consistent pitcher than Dylan Cease has been this year.
Right.
So they've been 100% serviceable while Yu Darvish has been out. It's just you're only going to get better with Yu Darvish back.
Yeah, like listen to this from Kevin in his daily newsletter. He says that Darvish could make his first rehab start as soon as Tuesday. So that's only 5 days away. He then writes, it's not known how many rehab starts Darvish will make, but the Padres are eyeing him making his season debut this month. Well, this month only has another 3 weeks in it. So, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 rehab starts, then he's back in the major leagues. That would be how you get back up later this month. I do think that's encouraging. And I do agree with you that you ramp him up. It's a long play with Darvish. His innings are never going to touch where he was 2 or 3 years ago. He was never getting to 175 plus innings this year. They knew that. They couldn't do that to him after last year. He didn't even throw 100 innings. So how do you maximize 100 innings? Well, you know how you do it? You start pitching in June. You don't pitch in April. So you start pitching in June. So I think that's the plan, and hopefully they can keep him healthy for 4 months.
Yeah, he's not King. He's not Pivetta. He's not even Cease, to where like the reliance on a guy like that, where all you're doing is like, when's Darvish coming back? When's Darvish coming back? And that's not the case. Darvish now, this late in his career, he can be very effective. But like you said, you gotta manage his innings. And if you are only going to get, say, 100 innings total for this year from him, and that might even be a lot, you're going to have to manage that and make sure that you maximize his outings to where like you're not pushing him at all. If there's any sign of trouble, you don't push it. 5 innings sometimes might be just enough for Yu Darvish. And if you can get him to the end of the year healthy into the postseason, that's huge, because the one thing the Padres have been missing in their last couple postseason runs, that fourth starter, like doesn't matter in the wild card round. And to an extent, it shouldn't matter much in the DS round, but it mattered this past postseason. You had to use 3 dudes,
and then you went to Cease on short rest.
Exactly, and that didn't work. And
Not at all.
That's why going into the postseason last year, like, all right, here we go. And then back to 2022, they didn't have a fourth starter for the NLCS, and that really screwed them.
In 2020, they had no starters. You're right. And by the way, I think Darvish at times has gotten a rap for his postseason career based on that one Astros-Dodgers World Series. A lot of people surmise Darvish based on that one series where he's got a lifetime 3.77 in 13 starts. Like he has appeared in a lot of postseasons. And last year, you've made this point, he had a 1.98 in 2 starts against the Dodgers. A 1.98. 8.
Well, if you just look at his career numbers, just with the Padres, they're really good in the postseason.
Very good with the Padres in the postseason and good against the Dodgers.
Very good against the Dodgers. And 2022 and 2024, he was great against the Dodgers. The 3.77 lifetime ERA in the postseason, it's inflated because of his time with the Dodgers and, trash can gate.
Yep.
So he could be a very important piece to this puzzle if you keep him healthy. And so I hope that when he comes back, he's not pushed, he's not rushed. If he needs a couple more weeks instead, give him a couple more weeks. They got enough to hold down the fort without him, with Cease, Pivetta, and King. And then you have plenty of the back end with Vasquez, Kolick, and King or Hart.
I agree with you. By the way, to your point, so as a Padre, listen to this for Darvish. In 6 career postseason starts, he has a 2.56 ERA. And in those 6 starts, he's averaged over 6 innings per outing. You know how hard that is in today's baseball in the postseason. In 6 starts, he has thrown 38 and 2/3 innings. 36 innings would be 6 innings per outing. He has thrown 38 and 2/3 innings and allowed just 26 hits and has a 2.56 ERA. He's critically important to them. This year, now, he's critically important to them. Not as much in May and June like we're talking about, but absolutely in October. If they get where you want them to get, Padres fans, he's involved in that plan.
100%.
That's factual statement.
Yep.
And now, again, if you had to do it without him because something changed, well, then that's on AJ, over the course of July or whatever. But I'm with you on the starting pitching. It's like you need the 4 true starters to get to that next level. Dodgers didn't have it last year, but they're different. So, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you throw it out with a team like that, with their offense, their whole body of work. From a Padres perspective, they've needed more starting pitching in the postseason. Hopefully they have it this year.
And when you look at the rotation it is, and we are a long ways off. I get that. I get it. But I don't trust Dylan Cease in a postseason game right now.
No.
But again, we are so far off.
Far away. But yeah, because you may. Like if he were to look like, not last night, but if he just turns this thing around and has a really good 3-4 months moving forward, then maybe you do start to be more trusting.
From what I saw last year and then his numbers with the White Sox.
No, I agree. You're just going to say, hey, I need to see in the postseason. I agree.
Yeah.
Now I trust King.
And I trust
Darvish healthy.
See about Pivetta.
I kind of trust Pivetta.
I do too. Just his attitude. I just trust it. But anyway, you're right. They need Darvish for the long haul, not necessarily right now. You don't really say, man, we need Darvish for May and June and even July. Like, well, you need Darvish for, I think, August, September, October.
Yeah, I wonder what the ramp up. Let's say he does return June 1st. Even then, I think they're going to be really cautious. Initially 65, 70 pitches, then 70.
Right.
Here's a guy that's thrown 100 plus pitches a million times in his career. I just think they're going to slow play a little bit, understanding how valuable he's going to be for them potentially late this year. But sometimes you forget, they're 23 and 13. They haven't even used Darvish. Last year's second half, he wasn't around for a lot of that, right? When did he return last year? September?
Good question.
He wasn't around for a lot of it. I
feel like it was August.
Maybe it was August, yeah. But they got a guy that they gave a lot of money to that's one of the best pitchers of his generation. So you kind of forget about that. They're 23 and 13. They haven't even used him.
I know. That's a credit to the rest of the staff. Performing without Darvish.
He returned September 4th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And made 5 starts for them. And wonder if he was good. I'm just looking, heading into the postseason. In the 5 starts he made, he had an ERA. Why do they give me this weird totaling? An ERA of 3.55.
Yeah, so he was decent.
Yep.
And then he ramped up and he really performed in the postseason.
Yep. Except with the 1.98 is what he had in the postseason. So anyway, hopefully, according to Kevin Acee, could rehab as soon as Tuesday, could be back as soon as this month for the San Diego Padres. We'll get to the wrap on the other side to kick off the 3rd hour of Jon and Jim. We will give away a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival next hour. That's with Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. It's May 15th, a week from today at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. And our buddy, our dear friend,
our friend,
our close friend, Darnay Trip from NBC7, and of course the On Fire podcast, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. But hour 3 of Jon and Jim comes your way next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they have an off day today, coming off a series loss against the Yankees. They start a 3-game series with the worst team in baseball tomorrow, the Colorado Rockies in Colorado, where Randy Vasquez will be on the mound for the Padres. An NBA playoff action happening tonight, just one game, 5:30 tip-off in Minnesota, Warriors and T-Wolves game 2. Steph Curry, of course, is out tonight with a hamstring strain. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions do apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim in 1 hour. Darnay Trip, NBC7 will join us on the show. And later this hour, your chance to win those Bob Dylan with Willie Nelson tickets. That's a week from today at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Did you realize today, Jim, we spent so much time on sports. Did you happen to hear that there is a new pope?
What?
The reason I bring it up is because of...
Yeah, why?
Here's why I bring it up.
Who told you to?
As any good reporter would do, WGN in Chicago, because he's the first ever American-born pope.
Yeah, he's from Chicago.
And he, from Chicago, went to Villanova in Philadelphia. So WGN reporting that they sat down with the new pope's brother, and among the questions that they asked his brother was, does he root for the Cubs or the White Sox?
Very important question.
That's what I would ask.
And interestingly, this to me would be a little bit of an underdog, is that he's a White Sox fan.
Ooh.
Boo.
So I just found that kind of interesting. Like, I didn't even realize the White Sox had fans.
There are some very, very funny memes out there. And tweets as well. One of the best ones I saw today, I sent it in our group chat. Chicago has a pope before a quarterback that threw for 4,000 yards for the Bears.
Correct.
So
in the history of the Bears.
Correct.
Did you say that to Brent?
I did not know.
Yeah, but the Bears haven't been around for 2,000 years yet. So
true. If the Bears are around for
not
2,000 years,
that
they'd have like one.
Right.
4,000.
And then we'd be tied with the Pope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very good point.
There you go.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting he's a White Sox fan. And some of the replies were so funny. Like,
I'm not going to lie. I was wondering that too this morning. I was on Pope Watch this morning over on Pogo.
It's interesting because they're like, oh, yeah, he's from Chicago. I'm like, the Pope?
What? The Pope?
Really? He went to Villanova.
The leader of the Catholic Church is from Chicago?
Okay. This is interesting.
All right.
All right. So Darnay Trip will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Your chance to win those tickets coming up later this hour. And right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Are the Celtics cooked?
So I turn my mic on. They're not cooked yet, John. But it is going to be an insane environment on Saturday afternoon at Madison Square Garden. And it will be like a finals game. It will be the biggest game at Madison Square Garden in over 2 decades. Stars will be out. Fans will be crazy. And that's going to be a raucous environment for the Celtics to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to say that they're cooked, but I don't truly believe it because I know that this is overcomable, so to speak. It only takes one game, but I think that's going to be it's tough to overcome that. Knicks are good, have the Celtics number, plus the environment. They're not cooked, but they got a big hill to climb. They got to win 4 of the next 5, and that seems like a huge hill to climb. Next question.
Is the Rockies series a must-win series for the Padres?
Yeah. It's a you can't. I mean, these are series you just can't lose. I can already see it now. Even if they take 2 or 3, I can't believe they didn't sweep them. And then I'll go back to those same exact people who were poo-pooing the sweep against the Rockies earlier this year. So, at minimum, win the series. They lose the game, they lose the game. But at minimum, win the series. I'm not asking for a sweep. Sweeps are hard, but win the series this weekend. And put up some runs on the board, guys, for once. Like, this put some runs on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a true must win.
I get it's
but
not.
We'll treat it like that, obviously.
Yeah, season's over if they lose the series, obviously.
If they lose 2 of 3, they'd be coming home 24-15. So, no, but you wouldn't feel good about it. If they lost 2 games to the Yankees and then 2 out of 3 to the Rockies to close that road trip, you wouldn't feel good about it. I do think they'll win this series, and I'm with you. I don't think they need to sweep it, but I do think that they'll win this series coming up this weekend. Next question.
Will the Warriors win another game with the T-Wolves with Steph out?
Just change the question to, will the Warriors win another game ever?
Ever in their existence without Steph Curry?
Right.
No.
You're asking if they'll win without Steph?
Like, will they win another game? Like, if Steph's return is scheduled, say game 6 on May 18th, I think it is. Say that's the date. Say he comes back that day. Will they even get there? Is my question.
Yeah, they'll get there.
You think?
Losing 4 straight in the series, dude. Come on. I watched Minnesota the other night. They're not invincible. They're absolutely not invincible. And the Golden State played well defensively, even without Steph. And they're going to get home for 2 games. They're not losing the next 4 games.
The path for the Warriors to stay in this series is Jimmy Butler has to be Jimmy Butler. The others have to continue to hit shots. Buddy Hield has to continue to play well. Draymond has to lock in and play, close to what he did in game 1 rather than, lose his mind and get technicals and be a complete idiot. And you're going to need some big performances from like the role players. Like, can Jonathan Kuminga do anything for you? Can Brandon Pajemski do anything for you?
Brandon Pajemski.
And if not, then they are going to be screwed.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the path. Just win 3 of the next 6.
Perfect.
There's the path for the Warriors. And the path for the T-Wolves is win 4 of the next 6.
Or win just 4 of the next 4.
Now, would I be surprised if the Warriors won tonight? Yes, I would. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if they won at home. Games 3 or 4.
Is it to the Warriors' advantage that they know that Steph's not going to play, opposed to like they're sitting around waiting to where like Jimmy Butler can just go into tonight's game knowing I have to be the man tonight and I have to score the points, opposed to, well, Steph might play or he might not play, so we don't really know what we're going into the game with?
I mean, from a game plan standpoint, it might give you more clarity on what your game plan is going to be instead of having 2 game plans depending on like, is Steph going to play or Steph not going to play? But I completely push back on any narrative that says, oh, this might help the Warriors. Like, no chance. Like, no.
No, it's like, it definitely won't help them, but I do think they can still win in the short term without him. They're obviously not going to win an NBA championship without Steph Curry.
No.
But can they win a game and then get him back by May 18th or somewhere around there?
That's why game 1 could prove to be a huge win for the Warriors, because if they lost game 1, they're not only in a hole, they got to win multiple games without Steph Curry.
Right.
And now it's like, can you just win 1 game without Steph? But the way that they're going to have to win that 1 game is not 110 to 105. It's like
60 to 59.
It's like game 1, 95, 85 or 95, 90. Like, they're going to have to, make this thing ugly. And if the refs let them play tonight, even though their head coach for the Timberwolves bitched and complained that the Warriors were too physical with them, if they let the Warriors play tonight, they have maybe a shot. I don't know, but
a shot tonight or in the series?
In the series. But if the refs all of a sudden listen to this, loser coach for the T-Wolves and makes this a series where you touch anybody, it's a foul.
No,
that's gonna be a problem.
They're not going to do that. The Warriors are fine. Honestly, I feel that way. I think they'll get Steph back later in the series. I think they'll win a game at home, and I think the series is going 6 or 7 games. Next question.
Okay.
Will Jackson Merrill lead the Padres in home runs this year?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say... No, I'm still going to say no. I was going to say yes, but then I was thinking about Toddy, and I think Toddy's going to lead this team in home runs. 35 to 40 for Tatis if he stays healthy. Jackson Merrill, I just don't know yet. I don't know. We haven't never seen it before from him, even though his pace is already way better than what Tatis is on. So maybe, but that's a tall ask. That means Jackson would have to hit in the 30s if Tatis stays healthy and right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't necessarily forecast it. I wouldn't call it, extremely unlikely. I would just call it unlikely. I don't see it. He had 24 home runs last year. He's shown more power so far this year, but he's already behind the 8 ball with his own team with Fernando Tatis Jr. So, I think he probably has an outside shot. I'm talking about Merrill of hitting 30 home runs. That's how that's just in my head. Like, does he have a more likely than not chance of hitting 30?
More
like does he have a 51% chance of hitting 30 home runs? I'd probably say no.
I think he does. Bro, he's hit 4 in 12 games.
I know, but he's not going to do that every 12 games. And he lost 24 games and he hit 24 last year.
Okay.
So because of all that, because he's not playing, hitting 30 home runs in 138 games is doing real work.
So you don't think that if Merrill was healthy for this season and didn't miss 30? Those 24 games, he would be tied with Tatis right now with 8?
I have no idea.
Because I think that's possible.
I think it's definitely possible. But
and Tatis, we already project to be a guy that hits 30 plus home runs, right?
I think he will hit 30 plus.
So if you're just using it by that,
24 games, I think could matter.
They could, but even if you play 130 games, you can hit 30 something home runs. I like.
Okay, no, I agree. That's why I said maybe it's 51-49 that he hits 30 or that he doesn't hit 30. But is he going to hit 35? Because Tatis is hitting 30. Tatis has a very good chance of hitting 35.
He does.
Runs. I don't know if Jackson Merrill has a very good chance of hitting 35 home runs.
But I think if Jackson continues to do what he's doing, and at the end of this month he has like 12 home runs, 10 home runs, that's a big number, huge number. I mean,
yes, if he's up to 12, I'm on board with that.
If 8 home runs this month, that's
12 home runs at the end of May. I'm thinking,
but he had 3 in the first 10 games.
I'm going to say look at Barry Bonds, but I don't know.
By the way, Tatis is in a little bit of a home run slump right now.
April 20th was his last.
This weekend, he's going to hit a home run. I'll pull a Charles Barkley. I guarantee
that Toddy hits one.
That Toddy hits a home run this weekend in Colorado.
And if he doesn't,
I don't know.
You will walk to Denver, you said?
I'll walk to Hawaii at the end of the month.
You just walk into the Pacific and be dead. Just like walk and be underground and now you're gone.
I'm going to Hawaii at the end of the month, so I can fake it. I walked here, everybody.
I faked it with my real ID. This caused me all kinds of problems.
Actually, it hasn't really caused me any problems.
Yes, it has.
No, it hasn't.
You had to go somewhere and yada, yada. Aaron said I basically saved the trip.
No, you didn't.
She said it.
Well, okay. You probably did because
you would have gotten to the airport with this expired ID.
Yes, and I wouldn't have brought my passport.
And then you would have like not gone to Hawaii, and then you would have vacationed in like
Carlsbad.
Exactly. She would have been so pissed. I think Carlsbad is nice.
It's beautiful there.
Hawaii.
We want to go to Hawaii. By the way, we've booked most of the trip out. You know what we got last night?
I have no idea.
We got a.
Tell me on the other side.
Oh,
because I want to hear it. Plus,
a tease and a tease.
I got another tease related to the NFL, and we're going to watch that first Friday game in Brazil. Remember we saw that last year?
Oh, man, I can't wait for that Brazil game.
Where will that game? It was a huge game last year. Was it not Eagles-Packers?
It was. I remember it was on at Petco because me and Aaron went to a game last year at Petco, and it was on in like the suite area, and we were watching that during the game.
Well, I'll tell you where this year's game, opening weekend from Sao Paulo, Brazil, will air. On the other side, plus Jim tells us about his Hawaii trip next. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Reminder, download the all-new iHeartRadio app. Put us in your presets. You can hear Jon and Jim right here on the iHeartRadio app. All right, do you want to tell me about your Hawaiian vacation? Or do you want to hear where the NFL will be airing its Week 1 Brazil game, which is going to involve your Chargers, Jim?
My Chargers? Excuse me?
You used to engineer their games or whatever.
You watch your mouth over there, okay?
You were like Mr. Producer. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that was a job. It wasn't like I cared about the Chargers.
I'm kidding. When they were in San Diego, why wouldn't you have cared about them? They're no longer in San Diego.
Correct. What were you saying about the Brazil thing?
Did you? Oh, can it take us behind the curtain? I don't know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask it on air. When the Chargers were in San Diego, this is when they were in San Diego.
Okay.
You can answer the question truthfully.
Okay.
You rooted for them? Now, I know you were a Niner fan, but they were in the NFC. You lived in San Diego for a number of years where the Chargers were here, correct? 5, 7?
Yeah.
Were you rooting for them? Did you have an affinity for them? Did you have an interest in them?
I was only rooting for them because of work purposes.
Okay. I'm just curious.
And then the second that Dino took them away and brought them in LA, they were dead to me.
Is when you bought all the Chargers gear. I'm kidding. No, I get it. That's why I'm curious.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are like that.
And even in truthfully, even when the night happened where they announced a partnership with the Raiders to try to build a stadium in Carson, they kind of died to me. Like that was it. Like they're gone. So yeah.
How did we get here? Anyway,
I don't know.
Do you want to tell me?
Because they're playing the Brazil
So
game.
hear me out. They're playing the first Friday of the season. The Chargers are going to be in this game.
Okay. Who are they playing?
That hasn't been announced yet.
Oh, okay.
But listen to this. This is going to be, according to The Athletic, the first ever game to air on YouTube. Not with a subscription, not YouTube TV, not NFL Sunday Ticket, which they're already partners with YouTube, Google on. The game will air, according to The Athletic, the heavy favorite to stream this game exclusively is YouTube. No paywall, no subscription, no nothing. I personally love that. As someone that absolutely is enamored by YouTube, the idea of the NFL putting a game somewhere where everyone goes every day, they got 2 billion active users per month around the world. To put a game on YouTube, to me, is pure genius. I'm surprised they haven't done it previously.
Yeah, YouTube's the one platform that is so universal and has created so many different, I guess you could say jobs, just because like
content creators.
Like that's what I mean. It's like,
yeah.
like it's created so many content creators and for people to be self-employed.
Yeah.
It's wild to me how YouTube has expanded to where it is now. It's so popular. It's ingrained. It's like whenever you need something to figure it out, like you go to YouTube.
100%.
Anything, you just go to YouTube.
Everything.
I'm surprised it took them this long, considering Major League Baseball's had like the free MLB game of the week or of the day or whatever on YouTube for like years.
Have they?
Yeah, they just don't advertise it.
Yeah.
But if you go on MLB TV, like one game a day, they'll have a thing that'll say YouTube free game of the day, and then you can just go on YouTube and watch it for free.
I like it. I really do. I mean, you put NFL games on YouTube, you're going to increase viewership, and you're going to bring 1 billion more people over to YouTube.
Now, do you ever get tempted to buy the YouTube Premium where you eliminate all ads?
I mean, there's a lot of ads right now on YouTube.
Oh,
I feel like there's been an increase. That's such a good question. I don't think I'm going to do it though. I'd rather my theory on everything that's annoying in life is you just deal with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
do I want to pay an extra
$5
a month?
I'd rather just be annoyed every day than pay the $5.
I know.
Right?
And in the grand scheme of things, like $5 a month is
I'd rather pay that on my card collection.
I exactly. I spend $5 a day at the vending machine over there.
So do I. Diet Coke.
Yep.
Tell me about this Hawaii trip. I forget what you were saying. Oh, you've booked out like excursions or like things you're going to do on the trip.
We have, yeah.
For your honeymoon.
I don't know how we got there.
After. This is a year removed from your wedding.
Yeah, it's a honeymoon / 1 year anniversary.
You got married when? It was in May. Was it right now?
May 25th last year.
And that's when you're away.
That's when I'm away.
Okay, so what are you guys going to do?
We're going to Hawaii. Oh, I know why. Because we're talking about the boat. I was going to say I'll walk to Hawaii. That's what it was.
You're going to go to Hawaii. What do you mean you're going to Hawaii?
What do you
There's
mean?
a
What am I
lot of
going?
islands.
I know. I'm going to Maui, and then I'm going to Honolulu. So we're island hopping.
Honolulu's a city.
Or not? Well, not. Yeah, Honolulu, the city.
What island is that on?
Oahu.
I think that's correct. Is that right, people watching us?
I'm pretty
Look like
sure.
idiots.
Pretty sure it's Oahu.
That's correct. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, Oahu. Going to Oahu. So we're going to Maui and then Oahu. And we booked a helicopter incursion, like a helicopter experience.
Oh, I am not doing that.
What?
Are you kidding?
What do you mean? Are you serious?
No chance would I do that. Oh, let's fly over the volcano. Boom. Volcano.
Well, the thing is, the volcano in Maui has been like dormant for like the last forever.
Nice jinx.
John, typically these things like smoke a little bit. They don't just spontaneously.
Blow up in your face.
Yeah,
Volcanoes are
right. There's a little warning.
Helicopter, dude. We're taking a helicopter ride on the coast of Maui to the rainforest of Hana, and we're landing in the rainforest.
Excuse me?
I know, right? And then we're going to be in the rainforest for like, I think it's like a 45-minute rainforest like adventure. And then we're taking
Gilligan's Island starts.
And then we're taking the helicopter back over the rainforest and looking at like waterfalls and stuff back to the airport. And it's like a 2-hour thing.
I'm not that. I don't do that.
There were a couple different helicopters.
Did you get the good one?
Yes, I did. But there was one helicopter tour that I was like thinking about.
Yeah.
And it's an open door helicopter.
Hell no.
so you take the helicopter with no doors on it. So you can like see everything, like look out the helicopter.
I can see the doors, man.
I know
I got doors on my car.
But then when I looked it up, the people that were taking the helicopter like doorless adventures, the wind is so it's like it came in like you can't even see straight.
So okay, you're doing the helicopter tour, which is freaking me out.
I know it is. Why is it freaking you out? I'm the one taking it.
I know, because I'm not trying to do a 4-hour show solo, dude.
Well, it was either that
for perpetuity.
You might have to soon. We were thinking of that or like a boat trip or something.
I'm more of a boat guy because I feel like the boat.
Yeah, we did a boat though in Cabo, and it's like there's places in Hawaii that you just can't see that aren't accessible to anybody.
Right. No,
and
I get it.
With the helicopter, you get to see those
That makes
places.
sense.
Like the Jurassic Park rock is in Maui.
So you're gonna see dinosaurs?
Yes, we're gonna see dinosaurs.
So you're going right into Jurassic Park?
Yes, Brent knows the Jurassic Rock, right? So the Jurassic Rock will fly over that and see that thing. And
is that all you're doing? A helicopter tour?
Yeah, and then we're doing nothing else in Hawaii. Absolutely nothing else.
All right. We may get back to that. Darnay is going to join us at 5 p.m. from NBC7. We've got these Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson tickets to give away at 4:45, plus an update here on Steph Curry as he has spoken to the media in advance of Game 2 tonight. That's coming up in 1 hour between the Warriors and the T-Wolves. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they have an off day today, coming off a series loss against the New York Yankees. They take on the Colorado Rockies, the worst team in baseball, tomorrow night for a 3-game series where Randy Vasquez will be on the mound for the Padres. The Rockies are in the midst of a doubleheader. They lost game 1 10-2. They are losing game 2 6-1 to the Tigers. They suck. Game 2 between the T-Wolves and the Warriors tonight in Minnesota. 5:30 tip-off. Steph Curry, of course, will be out tonight with a strained hammy. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print orders. Exclusions do apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
All right, Darnay at 5 from NBC and Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson tickets. Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson tickets at 15 minutes. Just hear me out for 1 second because you just mentioned the Rockies scores, right? 6-30 overall, 6 wins, 30 losses, losing right now again. A part of me is like
Scared about that?
Yeah. Because, yes, the Tigers last year, not the Tigers, excuse me, the White Sox were historically bad. I'm telling you, there's no way the Rockies play like this all year. They're not playing 167 baseball all year.
Want to bet?
Yeah. Because they're on pace to win 25 games. So, yeah.
How many games did the White Sox win last year?
40, right? 40 plus. White Sox 2024 record.
What was their longest winning streak last year? Like 3 games?
No, didn't they rattle off like 7 straight up? 41 and 120.
Over under 40 and a half wins for the Rockies.
It's a great question. I mean, it would be the under right now, probably. But
I'm with you. I'll take the over just because it's Colorado. But
like I feel like it's just not going to happen.
Dude, it's you would think that it just any Rockies team, no matter who's on it, is going to put up some numbers, especially at home.
Like, how could they be worse, Jim? Like, I'm saying this seriously. How could they be worse at home?
You just jinxed them. Good job.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you.
No, you jinxed the Padres.
No, because I'm telling you, I'm concerned. The jinx is if I said, "Oh, Padres sweep the Rockies," they suck.
No, you're concerned about the Rockies because of how awful they are, and now they're going to have a great series this weekend.
Well, yeah, because
against the Padres, it's all your fault.
It's not my fault. Because here's my point. The Rockies will not be worse than like 30-51 at home. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Yeah, okay, that's fair actually.
Like strongly disagree.
They're 4-13.
They will be worse than that, I feel like. I mean, they have put up the lowest amount of runs so far this year in the National League.
Correct.
Well, I'm pretty sure all of baseball. They've scored
how many runs?
Including the game right now.
Yeah. The game 2 right now or game 1 that's final?
Game 2.
Okay.
They've scored 115 runs on the year.
And this is their 37th game.
Now, the Pirates have scored 118.
Hold on. They're averaging, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. What are they averaging?
115 divided by 37.
It's less than 4. We know that. Might be less than 3. 3.1. And they play in Denver.
That's my point, is like they're not even putting up runs at home. They're not putting up runs at all.
any venue.
They've given up 213 runs this year, which surprisingly is not the most in baseball.
Interesting.
Most in baseball would be your Miami Marlins, John.
That is my team.
Yeah, it is your team.
Well, but my point, I'm not trying to make a jinxing point. I'm trying to make a point that I think is a valid
jinxed. It's all your fault.
No, jinxing, Jim, would be me saying the Padres will sweep the Rockies. The Rockies suck.
But we're saying
That's
the Rockies
jinxing.
suck.
No, I'm telling you they're like the best team in baseball, and they're going to be this once proud team.
Are you nervous? The once proud franchise. Are you scared of the Rockies this weekend?
No, I'm not scared. I just am not expecting a sweep.
I'm looking at this series as like a little bit of a get right series offensively.
I like that.
Put up some runs, guys. Go put up a 10 spot. Go have a game where you hit 4 home runs in it. Have a laugher. Have 2 laughers. Can you do that? That'd be great.
Dude,
Thanks.
The Rockies were 1-1 Like everything was great.
They were 1-1.
Like they won game 2 in Tampa, and they're like,
this season might be off to a good start.
They lost in extras in game 1.
The Rockies wrap-up show's like, you know what? I might have something here.
Dude, the Rockies wrap-up show has ceased to exist.
I would quit the Rockies wrap-up show.
Well, we found out the other night that there's a Pirates wrap-up show.
Those poor souls.
The North Shore 9, and they were like
doing some numbers.
They were doing all right in terms of views, but they were also super critical. I'm like, guys, it's a long year. Like, you're going to criticize them all year long because it's not getting better.
Yeah, there's not going to be one single point in the Pirates season where you're like, there might be hope.
None. Absolutely none.
It's every single game. This team sucks. This team sucks. This team sucks. Oh, Paul Skeens pitches today. This team sucks. This team sucks. Oh, Paul Skeens pitches today. Like that's essentially what the Pirates wrap-up show would be about.
100. By the way, their new manager is like, I think Kristen knows him. Don Kelly.
Oh, nice, great, it's awesome.
He grew up in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
you know
cool.
Donnie Kelly?
Do I know Donnie Kelly? Of course I know Donnie
Played the
Kelly.
big leagues. Young guy.
Yeah. He's my favorite player.
Anyway, he's their new manager. Steph Curry has spoken to the media.
Okay.
And he calls the calf injury. You've seen this, Jim.
It's not a calf injury, John. It's a hammy.
Fair point. He calls the hamstring injury a gut punch and will not rush his return. Also use the word tricky, the nature of hamstring injuries.
Yep. It's a huge gut punch because he also said today that after coming off that Rocket series and how, physical that series was and how they played defense on Steph, especially, that the first quarter of the game against the T-Wolves, it was completely different. And he was setting up to have a great series.
Yeah, amazing game, I was going to say, just in general. Game 1.
Because you're like, oh, this isn't like last series. I'm getting my shots up. I'm getting to my spots. I'm not being bear hugged, even though he was being bear hugged still.
Yep.
Like the physicality in this series is still, it's physical, but nowhere close to the Rockets series.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bummer because after game 1, if Steph was healthy, T-Wolves would be in some trouble. Now the T-Wolves get a big break, not having to face Steph for, at minimum, I want to say, the next 4 games.
Minimum 4. Okay, so because you're forecasting this May 18th game 6 as the date that could be circled.
Yeah, I've watched every game of Steph's career almost, and I know when he deals with injuries, he never comes back before a date of like when they say he's coming back.
Yeah, he's never going to rush. Yeah,
they always treat him with like essentially kid gloves.
Makes sense. He's
to make it so it's like, are you 100%? No, we'll give him another day. They never push him.
But would you do it if your season was on the line?
In this instance, probably not. Because here's the thing. If you did bring back Steph, all right, and you brought him back before, you brought him back in a week, all right, and he's maybe still feeling a little something, but the team's down 3-2, or the team's down 3-1. Sorry, they're down 3-1, game 5, and you bring Steph back.
I wouldn't want to do that.
I don't think that's a good idea.
You're asking for the world,
and you're asking him to just immediately morph back into how he was playing before he hurt his hammy
and win 3 straight. I mean, but here's my point. When I say if the season's on the line, my theoretical is more, would you bring him back to 2? The series is tied at 2, knowing that game 5 in that hypothetical is the biggest game of the series. That is more my hypothetical. 2-2, would you bring him back? 3-1 down, I'm with you. I don't think you're winning a series 3-1 down. But 2-2, it's like the series is truly on the line.
This is why I believe he's not returning, is because the way he plays and his style of game,
it's just always on the move.
You can't be 90% with a bum hammy. That thing has to be fully healed. And I know it's only a grade 1, which thank goodness it is, because there is some tiny sliver of hope for him to return. But, it is such a tricky injury that he's never dealt with before. So he has no idea what he can and can't do. And I guarantee you, if he did come back in game 5, he is going to be thinking about that the entire time. I mean, they'll wrap that thing up. They'll shoot him up probably and whatnot. But, dude, at any moment, he can make a wrong cut. Boom, gone.
Yeah, it is a really interesting dynamic and call for Curry and the Warriors at some point. When is he back out there?
That's why I said I wish it was an ankle injury. Now, he's dealt with ankle injuries his entire career.
So he knows what he's getting into.
He knows exactly what he's getting into. But I feel like an ankle injury, you can stabilize more than a hammy.
Yeah, it's a really good point. We'll
that's
see.
the worst thing to get if you're a basketball player is a hamstring injury.
May 18th, though, the way they can rehab professional athletes, they will throw everything.
Oh, I know they will.
I know he's a human being.
Not,
so you
not
can
like
only
me and
do
you.
so much.
It would take us like 2 months.
I know, but so they will do everything to get him back out there. We'll see if that's enough to get him back out there in the series.
And he also said that he's like, I'm not going to push it.
Yeah, I know. Which is probably smart, honestly, because to your point, he could do more damage. It could impact them the rest of this postseason. It could impact them probably next year.
I mean, best case scenario, don't envision it happening at all.
Second half tonight?
No. is Warriors win this series without him. And then he gets
of course. Then he's
a full 3 weeks to recover.
Yeah.
And I was watching a breakdown from a doctor
of course
the other night talking about recent hamstring injuries in the NBA.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years, he took a period of time from 2016 to 2022.
Yeah.
On average, an NBA player with a grade 1 hamstring strain missed at minimum 6 games.
Wow.
An average.
But 6 games in a regular season
could be
a shorter period of time, not a week, but 10, 11 days where this is a little more drawn out, especially with game 5 to 6, 3 days off.
Yep. But he's also 37. He's never dealt with this before. And the style of play that he did, there was a advanced stat the other day that in game 7, he ran on the court. He ran over 2 miles on the court.
I thought you were going to say 10, dude. 2? I run 2 miles at Orange Theory. I should be playing in the NBA. I do 2 miles at Orange Theory. 2 miles. I don't think you have that right.
No, it's right.
2?
What, 10? 10 miles is a long. That's long.
2.
Yes.
I thought guys in the NBA run a lot. The court's big.
2 miles.
All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. All right, this is next week, a week from tonight at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Call right now, 877-767-4760. It's more than 2 miles.
No, it's not.
877
Hold on.
767-4760. How could you only run 2 miles in a 48-minute game when people run 6-minute miles? 877-767-4760. First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia. We're giving away 2 free tickets to see Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. Call right now if you want those tickets. 877-767-4760. That's next. All right, I am looking forward to connecting with Darnay Trip. I'm sure Jim is as well.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Darnay. I do. That's why we have him on as often as we do. Darnay will join us at 5. By the way, it turns out Jim may have been right. But he's like,
Mark that.
He's like, this hamstring injury is so significant because Steph in a game goes 200 yards. Like
in game 7.
He's like, he goes 2 miles. Just 2 miles doesn't sound like a big number, does it? There's listeners of ours that run every day well beyond 2 miles.
Yeah, but have you seen how small that court is compared to like
94 feet?
A track?
94. Yeah, but you don't have to stop running at the end of the court. The other team that gets the ball, then you run back the other way, and then you run back the other way. I don't know. To me, for some reason, it's funny because I feel like I've heard before in soccer, like Lionel Messi covers. It's like running a marathon. Now I get it.
But
Soccer field's bigger than a basketball
right?
court.
And they're also not constantly running on a soccer field. Steph is like constantly running on the offensive end of the basketball court.
It was the way you said it. You're like, I thought you were going to say like 10 miles. You're like, he runs a mile.
Well, I'm right.
I know. I give you credit. You've been right like 4 times today.
You said you missed. It's this week, John.
I know I've been wrong on a lot of things. I don't know what's going on.
You're like, Jim has a great point.
I know.
Jim has a great point. Jim's always right.
What's going on with this show?
Jim's right about this. Jim's right about that. Wow, what a great point by you.
It's, you know what
Isn't
it
that
is?
like one of the signs of the apocalypse?
It is, seriously.
Jim is right about 3 things in a week.
I've spent so much time worrying about my card collection because I want to get into collecting cards, as I mentioned earlier in the show, that like everything else for me is just slipping. So now I'm like, Manny Machado, like what position does he play? Like,
is it hard to do a show when
I got all these tabs pulled up with like Tatis rookie cards?
98% of your attention is devoted to, like you said, buying a card?
Yeah, it's like if Survivor Series is on at like Thursday at 4 and you're doing a show.
That's I was just gonna say, John, this is how me and Jim feel when like a new MCU trailer or something comes out.
Like, if the Niners are playing at 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday Night Football and it's week 1. And
I'm out.
Week 2. Or like the Warriors tonight play at 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 I'm out.
Next step is out. So I don't know if we expect the Warriors to be up 20-2
The thing with tonight's Warriors game is that there is like zero anxiety, zero pressure.
But that's why I like their position, because this is the haymaker night if I'm the Warriors. Just if you land that punch,
oh my gosh,
that's amazing. But if you don't, it's still okay. You're going to Northern California. You're going back.
Expectation. There's no downside tonight for them to lose.
If they lose,
if they lose by 30, there will be a point in that game when Steve Kerr is going to throw the white flag and give extra time to rest for Jimmy Butler and Draymond.
But if they come out and Buddy Hield is 6 for his first 6 from 3,
well, he doesn't shoot threes, but okay.
Buddy Hield?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant Jimmy Butler.
I remember my first time watching basketball.
Yeah, it was last night.
Buddy Hield is the greatest player in NBA history when I watch.
He's going to go 2 for 12 tonight with like 6 points.
He's going to miss like 12 layups.
You've just jinxed everything.
When I watch Buddy Hield, this guy hit shots.
Yeah, because you've only watched Buddy Hield for the last 2 games.
And he's been unbelievable.
Game 7 and game 1, he's been the best player on the court.
Incredible. This guy is so good.
Like, no wonder he's drafted high from Oklahoma.
Where's the extend Buddy Hield tweets? All right, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Neil and we have Corey. Neil, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Give me Jim.
All right.
Why is everyone choosing Jim these days?
Because it's like opposite week. I'm right about everything. I have great points, and the callers want to choose me first.
So weird.
So Neil gets Jim. Corey, you get John, okay?
Yep.
All right, perfect.
Sorry, Corey.
Brent, what is the question of the day?
All right, guys, the Padres start a series with the once vaunted Rockies tomorrow. Today's question, name anybody in the top 10 all-time home run hitters in Rockies history. So we're looking for anybody that's hit in the top 10 home run hitters all time for the Rockies.
All right, Corey, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Todd Helton.
Todd Helton.
I mean, this is a list, by the way.
It's
it's all big names.
Yeah.
Much.
Neil, you're up. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Larry Walker.
Larry Walker. There we go. Corey, back to you. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Andres Galarraga.
Andres
Big
Galarraga.
cat.
There we go. Neil, back to you. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I have a guess, but I'm not sure about it. Jim, give me a lifeline.
Okay. I was gonna go. Oh, I have two guesses here, but I'm like kind of worried.
You shouldn't be worried at all.
I'll go Matt Holliday.
Ugh.
I know.
That would not have been my guess.
Wasn't he with the Cardinals forever?
No, he was the Rockies for a long
With the
time.
Rockies.
I'm gonna. All right, let's go. Take it.
Take it. You are Jim. Are you serious? That's your next Rocky, dude.
No wonder he doesn't think they're a good
Holy
franchise.
Good franchise. They are not a once
Their home run list is a
proud
good list.
franchise.
I bet they got a lot more guys that have hit more
Jim,
home
I'm
runs.
never picking you again.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Wow. Insult to
Wow, the
injury.
tables have
Shots
turned.
fired.
The turns have tabled.
All right, what do we got?
Corey, you're up. What is your next guess? You have a lifeline if you want to use it.
You can walk it off with your
Dante
Dante Bichette.
Bichette.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many others that are so easy. Tulo,
correct?
Blackman?
Arenado,
Yes and yes.
dude. I mean, I just come
Why did I
on,
say
Jim.
Matt Holiday?
Jim's like, who's
No
in the
one-
lineup today?
Holiday's 11th, to be fair.
Look at this Rockies lineup. Connor Joe.
Shut
on,
up,
man.
No Connor Joe. You guys got most of them except
That
for
was terrible.
3 of them.
Connor
Let me
Joe?
look at this lineup right now. You forgot to mention
Yorvi Toriyama?
Michael Toglia or whatever his name, Nick Martini. So let me hear this list.
All right. Number 1's Todd Helton.
Matt Holiday.
Larry Walker is 2. Vinny Castillo is 3.
Yeah, great name.
Arenado is 4. Carlos Gonzalez is 5.
Cargo.
Charlie Blackman is 6th. Dante Bichette is 7. Troy Tulowitzki is 8. Big Cat is 9. And Trevor Story is number 10.
Dude, I will be honest with you. That
Trevor
is one of
Story.
I've had some bad guesses over there. That's one of your worst guesses for a lifeline. That's probably a top 5 bad lifeline
How
you've
many
given.
home runs does Matt Holiday have in his career with the Rockies?
131.
What's top 10, by the way? What's it take to be top 10?
Trevor Story was number 10. He had 158. So
Oh, you
28
like that.
off.
But that means they have 10 home run hitters that have hit more than any Padre ever.
Yes.
Not really, but it's close to that.
Yeah.
Helton has
That's how many?
369.
369 is the most in the history of the Rockies.
My favorite thing is
What's the most in Padres?
Machado.
Manny Machado right now.
Machado in his
With,
time. I don't know what the number is.
169.
Yeah, not at 200 yet.
There's
70 something.
7 of them that already have over 200
That's crazy.
in the top 10.
My favorite thing is Ted Leitner.
Yeah, no, I know.
And he just dismisses any Rocky
numbers.
stat.
Yeah, no,
He's
I
like,
get it.
any Rocky stat, he's like, fake, not real.
Humidor.
Well, there were years in there where it was an absolute joke.
He's like, Arenado, not a good baseball player.
No, I mean,
Like
I get
what?
it. I get discounting some of those numbers because the numbers are gaudy historically in Denver. All right, it is time. Matt Holliday will join us on the end. No, Darnay Trip, NBC7. His thoughts on the Padres at 23-13 on this off day, heading for Denver, the injury situation with the Padres and more. Darnay Trip, our buddy from NBC7 on Friar Podcast. He will join us on the other side to kick off hour 4 of Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update's brought to you by eBay. Padres, they have an off day today. They will take on the Colorado Rockies for a 3-game series tomorrow in Colorado. Good news, the Rockies had to play a doubleheader today against the Tigers, and they just got their ass kicked. They lost game 1, 10-2, and they're down right now in game 2, again, 10-2. So, yeah, 8-1. My bad. 8-1 in game 2. They're really bad. NBA playoffs tonight. Got one game. T-Wolves and Warriors. Tip-offs at 5:30. Of course, Steph Curry is out tonight with a hamstring strain. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it with eBay. You find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim here until 6. Darnay Trip, NBC7 on Friar Podcast. Jim is already laughing. I have a serious question, Darnay, before we get into the nuts and bolts. It's a serious question, but it's not. I just want a serious answer, I guess. How annoying are we to you? Like,
Incredibly.
Does it bother you? Like, how much of the day do we ruin of yours?
No, it doesn't bother me. I just am this type of person that feels the need or an obligation to respond, especially to people I know on social media. Right. And so when you guys are just doing the same bit over and over and over again, it's like, all right, they're just going to get the like tap. I'm not going to give them a real response. But then when you're both saying that I jinxed the Dylan Cease no-hitter yesterday, and you're blasting it out to all your followers. Now, there might have been like 1 or 2 people that said something. I'm like, guys, are we really, you're like double barrel doing this to me. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Is it kind of like real quick?
I get it if it's just Jim. But when Jon and Jim tag team trolling me, like, come on.
Because you have twins, so you already know what's that like. Yeah. To have to. And here's the other thing. I feel like we're the Dr. Seuss, like thing 1 and thing 2 characters sometimes towards Darnay. So, okay, I sympathize with that.
Look, I'll be honest with you, Darnay. Did me and Jon yesterday in studio say, let's retweet and say that Darnay jinxed this when it happened?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No, I get it. These are orchestrated attacks. And if anybody should be like tag teaming on anybody, it should be on Jim. A, because he's Jim.
What?
But B, Jon, as you mentioned, no kids, no responsibilities, still recently married, just in the honeymoon phase, enjoying his life.
Yeah.
Whereas you and I are chasing around these small versions of ourselves who are wonderful, but bring along some challenges and more to think about. And there's more noise and more going on. So if anything, we should be getting after Jim, which doesn't happen enough.
I love that. Let's make Jim's life miserable.
Are you trying to say that I'm of all of this here, I'm the most annoying one?
No, he's saying you have no response. Like, you wake up at 9:40 and then work at 2 and then you're off the air at 6.
Yeah, and that I'm annoying and that I should be the one that gets, tag teamed here. What's going on?
Correct, Jim. Jim, you know this about yourself, Jim.
I know. I really do. So anyway, thanks for that, Darnay. That really put a light on this whole thing. And now I kind of feel that you and Jon are going to team up on me.
We do sometimes. We do.
Yeah.
We'll continue.
Don't worry. I'm with Jon all the time, so I'll make sure that the Twitter wars will be directed at you instead of me. Okay, let's get serious here, I guess. Padres. Dylan Cease the other night finally looked like Dylan Cease. Any concern about this injury that he had leaving the game, or are you going to take what they say at face value, that everything's fine and he passed everything with flying colors?
Well, I think at this point, it is only right to have just a little bit of like healthy skepticism, not to say that they're wrong or to assume that, there is a larger injury at play here. But I think it's just a responsible thing to take all of this with a grain of salt and wait. And maybe it was Jackson Merrill, and obviously we saw how that went. It was precautionary. They felt like they got ahead of it, and he was gone for a month. So I just want to, I'll believe it when he's back and he's pitching for a month. Even in a situation like this where it doesn't look serious, seemed like he had a cramp in his hand. He seemed, based on the quotes and everything, fine after the game. All that is well and good. But, we have been stung before. And I think Mike Shildt, even in a passing reference in one of the injuries that have popped up, I think he has even said something along the lines of we've been stung by these initial reports before. So I think we all get it. We've seen it. We understand. We know how damaging it would be when Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish are gone or on their way back to then lose Dylan Cease. So I think you have to kind of approach it with some cautious optimism. Sounds like they dodged a bullet here, but let's just really believe it when we see him back out there, whether it be in 4 or 5 days or, back to kind of on his regular schedule.
Completely agree. Darnay Trip with us right now. NBC7 has Padres podcast as well, the On Fryer podcast. So make sure to check that out. So
they watch it every day at 3 p.m.
Stop.
Literally not on every day, but we were on today. It just dropped a new episode, so check it out.
All right, so check that out. Jim, relax.
I'm kidding.
I know he's kidding. Okay, what about the Padres bullpen? It had been historically good for better than a month, and now hiccups. The 10-run inning, is just kind of bizarre. Maybe it'll happen once a year. But then last night, a 2-run late lead, and Jason Adam coughed it up, and then they ultimately fall in 10 innings. Are you as confident in the bullpen as you were, or is there some type of concern based on what has played out the last 2 days?
Yeah, I think I'm still pretty confident. I don't know if we expected them to have far and away the best bullpen in baseball. Right. I think as long as they have a good bullpen, one of the better bullpens in baseball, you feel pretty good. And I still think that that's the case. All these things kind of go in line with one another. There's been more and more chatter about how maybe offensively they're not as good as we expect them to be or think that they should be. And they've been able to win games largely because of really good pitching and a really, really good bullpen. There's been a lot of close games, and there's probably been some, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 run type wins that if there's a little bit more offensively that are not save situations where you can stray away from your normal scripted series of relievers. It seems like Mike Shildt hasn't really had that luxury, maybe as often as he would like. And so these guys have gotten some work, and this was bound to happen. And Wandy Peralta, what were our expectations of Wandy Peralta going into the year? Jason Adam gives up a 2-run homer to a hot hitter, when he's been really, really good. Estrada, obviously in a tough situation. Robert Suarez got through his inning. Adrian Morejon, good for a hiccup here or there. So they've been so sensational. They set such a high bar. At some point, they're going to come down, but it doesn't necessarily shake my belief that this is a good bullpen and one that will serve them well. And the good thing is, if they need a bullpen arm, AJ Preller will find them a bullpen arm, and they've got other guys that are in the system or on the way back from injuries. I think they'll be fine in that regard.
All right, so hypothetical, game on the line, 2 outs, runner at third. You need a hit.
Jackson Merrill.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. he is easy, right? That's an easy answer, I feel like right now.
I think at this point, it's him, Tatis, or Machado, right?
Right.
And I think Machado, just career-wise, seems to have a pretty good track record in that regard. But in terms of the guy right now who has the confidence, which is crazy to say about a guy in his second season, as young as he is, we've seen him do it against lefties as he did against Fried. So it's not like a Gavin Sheets situation where you'd be really concerned about the matchups, less or so with Jackson. He's just got it all going right now. And it might be different in a month. I'm also saying this where at a time where Fernando Tatis Jr. seems to be in his first slump of the season. So that factors into it. And we saw Tatis swing out of his shoes and Machado kind of swing out of his shoes yesterday, and Bogarts swinging the pitch that was out of the zone. So there's maybe a little bit of recent history that's coloring this answer, but it's hard to bet against Jackson Merrill on pretty much anything just based on what he's done so far this season.
He has really been incredible. And I know the sample size both this year and in his career is small, but he has truly been incredible. Darnay Trip is with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Do you have reason for optimism with Xander long term? I mean, we've all seen over these last 10 days, it's been a lot better. There have been impactful moments. Yes, he didn't come through last night, but they're not going to come through in all spots. Do you believe what we've seen can be sustained or not?
I'm holding on to that belief, John. I'm doing my best to hold on to that belief. There's been a couple instances, the homer against the Giants, obviously what we saw Monday night. He had back-to-back two-hit games where he gives you reason to believe, or at least hope that, okay, now it's starting to come together for him. I made this analogy with Derek on the pod earlier. You know, at some point now Trent Grisham didn't have the track record, but he had these spells where you're like, okay, this guy's real. And then when he struggled, you kept waiting for him to come back, and it never really happened, at least with the Padres. Obviously, he's off to a fantastic start to the season. I do worry we'll get to a point where, like, this is Xander Bogaerts with the Padres, a guy that's going to be 700-some OPS, if you're lucky. I didn't get there last year. Come through in some big spots, good clubhouse influence, and all that, but not going to be a 20 to 25 home run guy, not going to be a silver slugger type. I hope that's not the case. I know he cares. This stuff, I think, weighs on him, and he wants to be that guy for this team. But it's hard when everybody's looking for it and hoping for it. You get excited when he shows you a glimpse of it. It hasn't come together with any sort of consistency. Here's my idea for Xander Bogaerts. This offseason, get him to the Dominican with Fernando Tatis Sr. It's worked for Acuna. It's worked for Profar. It's worked for Fernando Tatis Jr. Let Sr. get some time with Xander Bogaerts, unlock something, because there's something that is missing that we just have not been able to figure out.
Everything's fixed. There you go.
I like it as long as he can stay on the active roster.
Yeah, if you know what I mean.
I mean, two of the players you mentioned haven't been able to.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know if we're making a connection there, or I don't know if it's, fair to make.
It's not fair, but it's Jon and Jim. So of course, we go there. Okay.
No, I mean, your point's valid.
No, I get it. We get it. Yeah. It absolutely. I think Xander too. Kevin had a great piece about Xander. Like, I think it was last week before he kind of got going a little bit. Is like, did you see that piece, Darnay?
When was this?
I think it was last week. I'm not sure. Essentially, it was about Xander and his recent struggles and kind of putting everything into perspective about his numbers in certain parts of the season. Now he just hasn't been able to put together a full season yet. And one of the biggest takeaways is like, this dude is as a head case. Like, he constantly is
the tweaking,
overthinking and tweaking and just obsessively thinking about his swing to the point where it's like, sometimes got to go out there and just see ball, hit ball.
Yeah. And, AJ Cassavell mentioned something probably around the same time, just wondering, okay, should he just be more aggressive? Is he a little uptight at the plate? And, would a YOLO approach for Xander Bogaerts work, where you're just going to go up there, take some big hacks, try to make some stuff happen, and worry a little bit less and think a little bit less? Because it seems like, to your point, it's gotten in his head a little bit, and there seems to be kind of, a confidence or a lack of self-assurance that is contributing to this as well. If there's a way to just kind of get him confident and relaxed and take some of the weight off, like, that might do him so good. Somebody make like a 10-minute cut up of like his greatest moments as a baseball player ever, and just have him watch that on an endless loop. Like, I'm sure coaches do that, but I think about that all the time with struggling players. Like, if you just watch yourself for 10 minutes and are reminded of who you are, like, I don't know, maybe that'll help.
No, we have our best show and we listen back to it sometimes, and it still doesn't make our show better.
No, I listen back and I'm like, I am not good.
No, the difference is like, hey, Xander, you hit a walk-off homer. This is a walk-off homer. Okay, there's no like, I know what that's like. You'd be like, oh, I killed it on TV tonight. And you're like, it wasn't really all that good.
I nailed that update.
Game-winning triple was a game-winning triple. Okay, you stepped up in that spot. And so I think it's a little bit more concrete than the clownery you and I do from time to time.
Final one, Darnay. I don't know if you've seen this, and I kind of like with diving a little bit into it the other night. Padres have only scored 10 runs one time in a game this year. They haven't scored more than 10 runs in a game all year long. They have the third fewest amount of runs scored in the National League. Would you chalk that up to just the injuries they've had, or is there a little concern there? Because the power numbers are down as well. That's also without Merrill, and Cronenworth has missed time here. But any concern about their lack of, I guess, pop so far? I mean, they're averaging under 4 runs a game this year.
Yeah, I think, and obviously you missed Merrill for a month. Cronenworth has been gone for a while. You've had to dig into your depth way more than you expected to. And I don't think any of those guys, so you thought, okay, maybe there will be a little bit of a power surge. Didn't happen. Big boppers that you were throwing to the lineup, hoping that they would kind of click. Yeah, maybe it's something we revisit in mid-June or beginning of July, assuming the group stays healthy, to give us a clearer picture of who they are offensively. And that would obviously coincide with, coming up on the trade deadline. And do they need a little bit more pop? Do they need maybe just another professional at bat, like what we saw with Solano and Peralta? But I think it's, at this point in the season, when they're kind of a middle of the pack offensive team, and in some statistics or metrics worse than that. I think that's, I don't know if it's a reason for concern, but something just to kind of have in the back of your head as the season plays out, because we've seen crazy things happen and they've benefited from fantastic pitching, as we've said, that's kept them in games, allowed them to win with 3 runs, 4 runs, what have you. Will we get to a point where we're seeing more of an offensive juggernaut, maybe closer to what we expected to see, or when everybody's kind of at their peak form? Time will tell, but I think, let's get healthy, hopefully get everybody in the lineup for a while and see what things look like after a month or so.
All right. So you can check out Darnay on NBC7, and you can check him out with the On Fire podcast. Anything else you want to promote coming up tonight on NBC or coming up on the Fryer podcast, On Fire podcast?
I wish I could promote John on Sports Rap last Sunday. That was fun.
Yeah.
Must have been nice.
Yeah, we didn't invite you, Jim, because you would have said something like that.
Yeah.
I was busy.
No, it's Sports Rap Sunday nights. Whatever's going on, we go in depth on the Padres, SDFC, Wave, whatever else is happening. Get guests like John, all types of good stuff. Jim's been on before.
Yes.
But yeah, weeknights On Fire, Thursdays, Sports Rap Sunday nights. We're around.
I will bug you later, okay?
Thank you, Darnay. Thanks for putting up with us. Bye. Darnay Trip, NBC7. He is a good soldier to do that. All right, we can react. Plus, again, the Padres off today, getting ready for the Rockies tomorrow. Jim's back page is ahead. This is Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. They've got a great promotion going on. Monday Night Live all month long, a chance to win a Ford Mustang Mach-E. One lucky winner each week will also be driving home that Mustang Mach-E. That's every Monday this month. You can earn entries all month long just by playing. And on Tuesdays, you can earn 2 times the entries.
John, did you know Mother's Day is this Sunday?
I do know that, yes.
Well, celebrate Mother's Day with Mother's Day's brunch at Prime Cut this Sunday, 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., featuring lobster tails, hand-carved prime rib, and much more. Make your Mother's Day extra special for mom with a meal she'll love.
Don't miss UFC 315 this weekend, Saturday night, 7 p.m. You can catch that at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, also their poker room. It's the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, Jim's back page coming up. Neat little article in the UT by Jeff Sanders today. And the title of it is A Video Game 30 Years Later, Padres games at Coors Field are still a trip. And it's about all of the experiences in Denver since Mile High Stadium, when the Rockies initially debuted before Coors Field, and all of the wonkiness.
And
And
a deep dive.
I
right
mean,
there.
it is a real deep dive. From everything from the first two cycles in franchise history, by the way, happening in Denver, right? Matt Kemp, Will Myers.
Yep, remember that?
In Colorado, just to everything. What's it like to pitch there? I mean, he has a list here, Jim.
The game 163.
Game 163, of course, is in here. He's got a list of the Padres hitters that, had the best numbers at Coors.
Tatis has some really good numbers at Coors, if I'm not mistaken.
1065 OPS. It is not the best. In fact, Will Myers has a higher OPS there. Ryan Klesko, Phil Nevin, Steve Finley. Wally Joyner's OPS in 20 games there is 1223. But listen to this. Pitchers that struggled at Coors Field. Woody Williams in 29 innings has a 15 ERA there. 29 innings had a 15 ERA. Edison Volquez had a 10.5 ERA there.
Something about that park, man.
Blake Snell's career there as a Padre, 7.54 ERA for a guy that's won 2 Cy Youngs. Yeah, it's the park, it's the elevation, I don't even know how to describe it. We've all watched those games where you think you have a good feel for what's going on, and then it changes in an instant.
Now, these aren't your mother's Rockies.
No, they haven't been, right.
They lost games. So they played a doubleheader today against the Detroit Tigers. It's like a makeup.
At home.
Game 1, they lost 10-2.
Okay.
Like, man, it can't get worse than that. Game 2, they're down 11-1 in the 9th inning. They are by far and away the worst team in baseball. It's not even close. This is not a team that has some players on it that could put up some damage. I'm looking at their
nice jinx. See, that's a jinx.
Okay. You want to hear their lineup, John? Here's their lineup. I'll just give you just their batting averages and their OPSs, all right?
Okay.
218 with a 639 OPS.
Okay.
267, 873 OPS.
That's good.
185, 650 OPS. 152, 503 OPS. 205, 620 OPS. 224, 719 OPS. 240, 597 OPS. 111, 384 OPS. 175, 505 OPS.
So what are you saying? They've struggled to hit this year?
They've struggled to hit, and yet they still play at one of the best hitters ballparks
ever.
Exactly.
Well, not just, it is the best hitting ballpark ever built.
Yes.
In Major League Baseball. There's factors there, like the elevation. Plus, what they did when they built that ballpark is they made it huge, which doesn't always mean there's a million home runs, but oftentimes there's a lot of just base hits because there's so much ground to cover.
It's such a big outfield.
Their outfield is so big. So many triples in that ballpark, so many extra base hits.
That's why I'm predicting
they score.
The Padres are going to score some runs this weekend. Yeah. I'm already predicting they're going to hit some home runs this weekend as well. Toddy, I've already said guarantee.
You're guaranteeing home runs or a home run from Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, multiple would be great, but at least one. I'm guessing I'm going to say at least one this weekend. I can't right now even fathom like what the Rockies are doing, and all of a sudden they just play like great baseball against the Padres this weekend. I'm just really pushing it, aren't I?
You are pushing.
I am,
man.
I am right up against that line, and I'm just like tipping toeing over it. I'm like up, right over it, up.
Save this audio.
Yeah, don't.
The Padres, to your point in the home runs, have hit just 30 this year in 36 games.
Yeah, it needs to go up a little bit, guys.
Hit 1 at Yankee Stadium in that 3-game series. So yeah,
but it was also raining, and the weather wasn't like it was hot there.
You're right.
So
you're right. So we'll see if that number does, in fact, increase, though, this weekend at Coors Field in Denver. On the other side, we're getting you ready for tonight in the NBA. Warriors T-Wolves Game 2 will tip off in 10 minutes. Plus, Jim's back page is ahead. This is Jon and Jim. Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night? Are you worried about your finances during these crazy times? Hey guys, it is Schaefer. If you're like most people, you've racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards and the monthly payment is not making a dent in it, it's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. You can call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 619-207-4336, loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Again, loanpronto.com. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLS Consumer Access.org.
This update is brought to you by Bill Howe Plumbing. Padres, they are off today after losing a series in New York to the Yankees. They take on the Colorado Rockies, the worst team in baseball, starting tomorrow night for a 3-game series on the road. Randy Vasquez will start tomorrow night for the Padres. In NBA playoff action, we are moments away from tip-off in Minnesota. Game 2 between the T-Wolves and the Warriors. Of course, Steph Curry is out of that game with a hamstring strain. Traffic may be slow, but your drains don't have to be. The experts at Bill Howe have been helping San Diego with their plumbing needs for 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE because we know how. License number 488413.
All right, Jim's back page is ahead. Programming reminders for tomorrow, Jim. We have a show. Justin Hastings, I mean, it's Friday, so we always have shows.
Yeah, John.
So Justin Hastings just appeared in the Masters. He plays golf at San Diego State. They're in a regional in Tallahassee.
Good golfer.
If they get out of that regional, they're playing in the national event, which is here at is it La Costa?
So La Costa Canyon?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
Is it Omni?
Maybe Omni. I don't know.
You don't know where they hold the
don't
national championship?
Nope.
No, I'm serious.
I'm serious. I don't know.
College. Why am I not? Omni La Costa.
Okay. Yeah. La Costa.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So that's where the Division I golf championships are held. San Diego State trying to get there. Justin Hastings will join us tomorrow. He just played the Masters. He was the low amateur, but didn't make the cut, so it doesn't technically count, but he played the Masters.
Played Augusta, man.
Right. So he'll join us tomorrow. Adrian Garcia Marquez, voice of SDFC. He'll be on the call Saturday. He'll join us at 4:30 tomorrow. We'll talk Rockies with Kyle Newman from the Denver Post. I feel bad for Kyle because he covers the Rockies.
I feel so bad for him.
And then Kevin is on the show. Kevin Acey will join us as well. So we have a loaded show
tomorrow.
Loaded show. Join us at 2 p.m. Jim's back page is ahead. And as Jim just said, Warriors T-Wolves game 2 is about to get underway. It's interesting when you look at what's played out here over the first couple of games in the second round is the road teams have been unbelievably dominant other than the Thunder last night responding in a huge way. They scored 87 first half points, the most in the history of the NBA playoffs, and they won by 43 last night over the Nuggets. That's the only home win to this point in the NBA playoffs. That's in the second round of the NBA playoffs. I find that to be incredible. But OKC took care of business. We'll see if the T-Wolves can do that tonight or not.
Yeah, no, I said yesterday I thought that the Denver Nuggets would be coming out of the Western Conference and go to the NBA Finals. Yeah, I'm going to retract that. I'm sorry.
Out of the Cancun bracket.
Yeah, they'll be in the Cancun bracket. The Thunder are that good. They had a slip up there in game 1, but then thinking about it, it's like
they also led that game.
They should have won that game.
Yeah.
And fluky ending, and then blowout game 2. It's kind of what you expected the Celtics to do to the Knicks. Fluky loss in game 1. If you're expected to win big in game 2. Celtics, they choked. Thunder, they didn't. They performed. They could have, if they tried, they could have scored 200 points last night. It was that bad of a beatdown. Jokic fouled out in the third quarter.
Can I give you a box score from like last night, something that sticks out?
Okay.
It's 149-106 win.
What stuck out to you, John?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
34 points?
No. Plus 51.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
In 30 minutes. That's not even 2/3 of the game. In 30 minutes, he was plus 51. He missed 2 shots all night. He was 11 of 13 for 34 points.
His efficiency rating must have been off the charts.
Probably high.
Very high.
But tonight, we'll see if the T-Wolves, do they do what they're expected to do, or do the Warriors find a way to hang in this thing, put some pressure on Minnesota, and make it a game late?
The thing with not T-Wolves, the Thunder is they are in a time in their franchise history where if they don't win a championship like now or next year or soon, they're not going to be able to keep this roster together because you don't have the big time contract yet. I don't even think Shai has the Supermax yet. I know he has. I don't think he does.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken, but
let's take a look.
And if he does, it's fine. But there are other players on that team that are going to get huge contracts as well. And they're a franchise that right now, with the way they've drafted players and signed people and everything, they're not in like a luxury tax hell or paying a bunch of money to a bunch of guys yet. Would
it be right that his first deal could pay him 5 for 170? Because he's only a 5th-year player, right?
Well, it depends, because if and when he wins the MVP and he gets voted on the first team All-NBA,
right,
his max goes up. And because it would be with the Thunder, he can get more money than if he went to free agency. I don't know the exact details on that, but I'm guessing it could be higher than that. It should be higher than that.
Yeah. So I'm reading an article here from earlier in the year, February 19th. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is eligible for a 4-year $293 Supermax this summer. So this summer, to your point, he's getting 4 years, $293. We should have been really good at basketball.
Well,
this was so easy.
If I was 7 inches taller,
it would take even more than that.
It would take a lot more than that.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if you were 7, he's going to make $75 million a year.
Yep,
which is more than you're making.
I'm making $75 a year.
Yeah, we should have done that. We should have been amazing. It's crazy, the money in the NBA. That is unbelievable.
Yep, it's only going up. Like, guys are making $60-70 million, and
think about that though, real quick. We talked about who got Machado's first deal was $300, right? We were like, oh my gosh, largest deal in American professional sports.
Right.
Shai Gilgeous this summer is eligible for 4 years, $293.
I know.
And then look at the Merrill deal. It's different across sports. I get it. Quarterbacks get paid. NBA players get paid. It's just different across sports.
It is. And
how are you feeling right now? Are you going to be nervous for this game too, or not really, because they got game one and you're not expecting anything?
No, I'm not really expecting anything.
But you look very nervous.
Game's already over.
It's down 3-0.
Yeah, it's over.
Will they lead in this game?
That's a good question.
Is that a good question?
I'm gonna say no.
What? 2 seconds from now they'll be up like 4-3.
They're not gonna.
They're not gonna lead in this game.
No.
This is the only playoff game tonight, and then tomorrow we have 2 games again. Tomorrow we have Jim.
The NBA playoffs have been very good.
It's been awesome. I've been watching every night.
There's been so many games where like this one's over, and all of a sudden it's like, what a crazy ending.
This game's truly over.
I know.
6-0. 70 seconds in.
Yeah. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Walk off the floor.
Bloodbath. Easy call there.
Is there a forfeit rule where if you go down 10,
wave the white flag already? I mean, they're wearing white jerseys, so you might as well just already wave the white flag there.
It's only 8-0. Tomorrow we have Cavs Pacers and Thunder Nuggets, and then the game you've been talking about, the Saturday afternoon game at MSG between Celtics-Knicks. It's going to be like the NBA Finals.
In New York.
Yeah. In New York, it'll just be insanity. So good start for the Warriors. They took a timeout a minute in. 1 minute in. It's not as easy as that, because I watched the entire Celtics game last night and I said there's no chance the Knicks win this game.
They don't have Steph Curry, dude.
Neither did the Knicks.
But the Knicks have Jalen Brunson.
He's really good.
He can go get a bucket, man.
Yeah.
They don't have a guy that can, well, they have Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler is, I think he's still injured to me. Like he's still hurt.
He's looked good, hasn't he? In the playoffs?
He's been okay.
Okay.
He's been fine.
Honestly, I've watched the Warriors like for the first time this year. They've been impressive to me. Their defense has been really good.
Well, but they've been really good defensively this game. 8-0 run.
Losing Steph might be costly. We'll find out.
Losing one of the best players of all time.
Yeah, ChatGPT says 10th best ever.
So funny. People are like, oh yeah, maybe the Warriors. No, Steph Curry is.
No, you're right.
Is like the reason why they are where they are. Without Steph, it doesn't work.
I know. But for a half game in game one,
doesn't work.
No, I agree. Especially with a couple of days to prepare for them not having Steph.
It doesn't work.
All right. The Rockies have lost.
Wow. Shocking.
So they didn't come back from that 11-1 deficit in the ninth inning. They are 6-31 heading into the series that starts tomorrow at 5:40. Padres-Rockies tomorrow at 5:40. Again, Kevin Acee will join us tomorrow. Kyle Newman, who covers the Rockies, will join us as well tomorrow. And that's who the Padres have this weekend. Those Rockies that are 6-31. We'll see if the Padres can bounce back. It wasn't a great couple of days at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I thought they were great games, truthfully. Like yesterday's game was really compelling. It was great baseball. But they've lost 2 straight, but they'll bounce back hopefully this weekend against the Rockies, and we'll be covering it tomorrow.
Yeah, oddly, I'm not coming out of the Yankee series and being like, that was awful.
Right.
You know, Morejon and Wandy Peralta, they threw up all over themselves on Tuesday night.
Not literally.
It's not a complete total meltdown by like the entirety of the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Adam, he's not going to be perfect. He missed a pitch location wise. I think Maldonado set up on the outside corner, and guess what? Down and in, right into Trent Grisham's
wheelhouse,
happy zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, it's like Jackson Merrill looks good. He's back. Manny Machado continues to hit. They had some big clutch moments in game one, and it happens. And you don't execute in the 10th inning. It happens.
It does happen.
I'm not going to lose my mind over it, because in the 10th inning there, guy gets bunted over to third, sack fly, game's over.
Yeah, like what can you even do?
You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's not worth getting too upset over, considering they're 23-13, and they could have won those games.
And you had a great opportunity in the 10th inning to put some runs on the board and do some damage.
Yep.
And you didn't get it done against a guy. Yeah, he's been struggling all year in Devin Williams, but when he is on, he has one of the best pitches in baseball, that changeup.
And this isn't the Rockies bullpen that they face, because the Yankees have some elite arms in their bullpen. So hopefully it changes this weekend. All right, we'll get to Jim's back page on the other side. Updates from Minneapolis, where the T-Wolves and Warriors are underway.
It's over.
Here's the spoiler alert. Not good for the Warriors. Stay with us, Jon and Jim. right, STFC back Saturday night in St. Louis. You can hear the match live Saturday at 5 right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for STFC. It hasn't gotten better for the Warriors, who 4 minutes in are trailing at Minnesota 13-0.
Will they score a point this game?
7-0-4-7-0 started with team. I think they will. But it turns out maybe we're right about Steph being important.
Do you think? It's like not rocket science.
I don't know if they're going to win this game. They will score, but I'm not sure if they're going to win this game. Trailing by
1 million.
13 early.
Do you want
to stay on the air?
Sports. I hate sports.
Dude, it's only game 2. It's not game 22.
It would be better if it was game 22.
All right. Do you have anything for the back page today?
I got a couple things.
Okay. Let's get to it.
You know, Elton John is coming
Petco?
to Petco Park, right?
Yeah. When is that?
That's this Friday, John. That's tomorrow, May 9th.
Okay. Yep.
You're wondering, man, I wish I could have got tickets to Elton John.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're in luck. Upper Deck tickets have recently just been released for Elton John at Petco Park, starting at $42. So
$42 tickets are
if you want some last minute tickets, if you're looking for something to do tomorrow night at Petco Park, you can go and see Elton John for just $42.
That's crazy. Those have got to be picked up by now, right?
Probably.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. But that's interesting. That'd be a huge show.
Oh, yeah. It'd be massive.
Yep. Okay.
And, how many more times are you going to be able to see Elton John perform live in concert?
Well, I don't know. Is this like a final tour type situation for Elton John or not?
Dude, he's always on like a final tour.
Right. There's a lot of final tours. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm actually Googling that. Is this his final tour? Oh,
They scored a point.
They've scored.
Breaking news, they've scored a point. And Yelp, John, just released the top 10 cities for barbecue in the United States.
I would say that Kansas City would be at the top of that list.
You'd be wrong.
Is San Diego on the list?
You'd be wrong.
Memphis.
You'd be right.
Is number 1?
Is on the list.
Okay.
Here's the list.
Yeah, let's hear the list.
Number 10, Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Number 9, Durham, North Carolina.
Makes sense.
Number 8, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Wow. You could check it out when you're there.
Number 6, Greenville, South Carolina.
All right.
Number 5, Charleston, South Carolina. Number 4, Memphis, Tennessee. Number 3, Kansas City. Number 2, San Antonio. You can probably guess number 1.
Somewhere in Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm. I said Kansas City.
You did, but it wasn't number 1. You said number 1.
I got you.
Yeah.
So San Diego did not make the cut.
No, they did not make the cut, John.
Those are basically all southern cities and Honolulu.
Pretty much.
Texas, Carolinas.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you go.
Is that it?
Are you gonna go get cards after the show or what?
Oh, here we go. No, I'm not going to. So yeah, if you missed this earlier, I said that I have this I don't know why I'm using the word pang. I guess it's itch to go get into collecting cards. By the way, people have DM'd us on Jon and Jim Instagram telling us where to get cards and what to do.
Oh, really? I haven't checked.
But I don't want to dive too far in. It's you don't jump into the deep end when you're learning to swim, right?
Well,
that's the theory.
Here's the thing. You want to jump into the deep end.
I really want to jump into the deep end, but how do you do that responsibly with floaties on?
You don't.
So my floaties are what? Do I not spend? How much money am I supposed to spend? How do you start the process of collecting cards?
You just start
buy
buying.
packs.
You just start buying stuff. Yeah.
Just start buying packs. I guess I could do that.
You buy packs and you hope you get a card that's worth something. And then you just
put in
add,
the sleeve.
And then you put in a sleeve and then you add to that. So that's how you start.
I do like that. I do like that idea, but I want to buy cool packs.
I know.
Seriously.
I'm going to go to Target.
No,
tomorrow.
Target. I'll go with you to a card store.
They're going to sell the same stuff at card store, the Target. It's not like the packs are more special to card store.
Okay. All right. But when I go to Target sometimes and look for stuff for Jones, it's like Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, but you're not looking in the right spot. You're not even looking. You're not even paying attention.
I'm not.
You're not, because you never once thought about cards.
And now I'm like, oh,
now if you go there, like, oh, this is a great Topps 2025 holographic set.
But also, how do I bring it up to Kristen? I mentioned to her last night or this morning, I'm like, yeah, I've been looking a lot at like card videos. And she was like, she didn't like immediately rip my head off, but she didn't seem like overly thrilled about it.
Because you haven't bought anything yet.
I'm not letting you anywhere near my cards because I'm going to get like some perfect Michael Jordan sneeze all over. I don't need your sneeze on my MJ rookie.
MJ rookie.
Is there that one set? Hear me out, guys, right? What's that? Isn't there an iconic set with that rookie class, Jordan's rookie class, where if you probably can't even get packs anymore, right? Or if you did get a pack from that set, it would be like thousands upon thousands of dollars. Isn't that true? Because doesn't that set have like MJ rookie and
probably,
tell me else, like Akeem and Drexler and
probably.
That's what I want. I want that box or that set.
But the thrill of being a card collector, I think, and I'm not one, but I would assume it's not just looking online and just buying the card that you're looking for. It's like buying the packs and the adrenaline rush of opening the pack and looking through the cards and getting that card you're looking for.
So that's the part, yeah.
So instead of spending $500 on a card that you're like wanting,
you actually pull it.
You pull it and you paid $12 for the pack.
But what are the odds of that? It's like that's like going to a casino and pulling a handle.
Well, that's what it is, dude.
Right. It's entertainment.
It's definitely entertainment. And you see all the time, you don't see people online on YouTube channels being like, look at the card I bought on eBay. No, they buy packs and they open up the pack on their channel. And that's the thrill of it because you're watching to see, do they pull a card that's valuable?
I think we need to do that on the wrap-up show.
I did that one time and you wanted to leave the channel.
Did I?
Yeah.
Pokemon?
Yeah, you're like, this is stupid.
Right. Well, I've changed my tune.
Oh, that's great.
And maybe because I'm not really a Pokemon card guy.
I know you're not.
Maybe I could get into it, but I want to do like baseball, basketball, football. So I don't know where I go from here. I'm going to keep you updated, but I'm going to buy some packs. I'm going to do some things.
I'm glad.
But I need all the equipment. I need the card books and I need the sleeves and
oh my gosh.
I need storage and I need a lot of things.
Well, you can easily go buy a pack of cards and you easily can go buy a sleeve.
Right.
And then you can take the cards and put them in the sleeves and you were good.
That's what I'm going to do. 100%. I'll have an update for you tomorrow on Jon and Jim on where I am in my card collecting. I'll have that update for you tomorrow.
Oh, great. No, I'm going to bring in a card. I'm going to bring in packs tomorrow and you're going to open it on air.
One pack?
Probably.
No, get a few.
No, I'm not going to spend like $40 on you.
$40, I'll pay you back.
So I know you won't do it. You'll probably be over it by tomorrow anyway.
No. You
only the first one's free, John. That's how we hook you.
Exactly. No, you think I'm going to move on to another hobby come tomorrow?
Probably.
I'm going to stamp collector.
He's going to take up crocheting.
Yeah, I might.
I know you, and
you do know me.
You can move on pretty quickly, I feel like.
Probably true. You're probably right. We're watching this T-Wolves Warriors game, and the Warriors have made a furious
Did number
comeback.
61 Pat Spencer almost just dunk on Anthony Edwards?
Everyone, yeah. Listen, this thing ain't over, Jim. It's the first quarter. Everyone makes a run, including Pat Spencer.
Pat Spencer.
It's not over. We'll see what happens tonight. Minnesota got off to the fast start, but it's 13-5. So this thing's far from over.
What's this guy's name for the T-Wolves?
I have no idea.
Chris Finch or whatever his name is.
You can't deal with this guy.
He is such. I can't say it on the radio, but oh my god,
you don't like him for some reason.
No, because he's a whiny little B word.
You said that word earlier.
No, I didn't.
You said the B word earlier.
No, I didn't.
Did he not say the B word earlier?
I did not.
He said bitching.
Bitching.
There's a difference.
Okay.
There's a big difference. But I did not say
That's the words I say.
Yeah, the words you say you can't say on the radio, though. Mr. I've been dumped more than Jim has been dumped in my radio career.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So
I'm just looking. All right. Join us tomorrow because tomorrow's show, Kevin Acey will join us from Denver. We'll get you ready for Padres and Rockies. Kyle Newman covers the Rockies. He'll join us. I'm looking forward to catching up with Justin Hastings, who played the Masters, San Diego State golfer. They're getting ready for the NCAA regionals in Tallahassee, Florida. So Justin Hastings will join us from Florida tomorrow. And also Adrian Garcia Marquez. We didn't really touch on SDFC today. Coming off that win, getting ready for a road tilt in St. Louis. And he will join us tomorrow as well. So a really good show lined up for you tomorrow beginning at 2 p.m. As we always tell you, if you missed something today, you can go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app or iTunes or TuneIn Radio or Spotify, and you can listen to us there as well. All right, back tomorrow at 2 p.m. as we get you ready for Padres and Rockies. And for Brent and for Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye.